University in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Net presents Western Athletic Conference football. We're at Rice Stadium this afternoon as the University of Tulsa Golden Hurricane face the Rice Owls. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Land. Glad to have you with us here in Houston today, along with Gary Reasons. We've got a heck of a matchup here. It is the WAC opener for these two teams. And, Gary, both of them coming off losses in non-conference play, excited to get after it in the WAC.
Well, I tell you, both these coaches really want to win. Keith Burns, the head coach from Tulsa, told his team this is a must-win for them. And I know Ken Hatfield here at Rice wants to start fast. They hope to win this conference this year.
Tulsa comes in at 0-2. They have shown the ability to throw the football, with a real contrast offensively. They got an excellent thrower in sophomore quarterback Blankenship.
Well, you see the WAC freshman of the year a year ago. He started 5 ball games for the Hurricane. Two starts under for his belt this year. He's coming into this ball game throwing the ball more than anybody else in the WAC conference, and they throw the ball quite a bit. They got some quality receivers as well.
Now Rice, whole different offense. The spread option is what the Owls are running, and they run it very well. Their quarterback is certainly a trigger man. He's actually their second quarterback due to injuries this year, as Corey Evans gets the call.
Well, Corey Evans is the second quarterback. They have many quarterbacks here as disposable quarterbacks here for this offense. They have to run this option. They take a pounding, these quarterbacks do, and they have to be able to be in there down in, down out. We've got a couple of tailbacks here, Adrian Sadler and Leroy Bradley. They'll carry a lot of the balls for this ball game for the Owls. So you'll see a lot of running backs in there. Probably 6 or 7 total will be in the backfield for Rice. Passing
versus running, it should be a dandy here today as Rice takes on the University of Tulsa in the WAC conference opener. Evans and the Owls will try to string out the option and make it 2-1 for the season when we come back.
College football Saturday on Fox Sports Net. Pac-10 action heats up as Deshaun Foster carries UCLA into hostile grounds against Oregon. Then, the two-headed monster of Sims and Applewhite lead Texas against intrastate rival Houston. It all kicks off with the pregame show next Saturday on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back on a college football Saturday to Houston. We are at Rice Stadium for WAC football. Bill Land and Gary Reasons with you here at the stadium on a beautiful day here in Houston. And our third man on the crew down on the sidelines, ready to join us now. Here's Kevin Eschenfeld.
I'll be the guy with the sunburn at the end of the day. Thank you very much, Bill Land. This is one of those interesting situations where one team's strength is another team's weakness. And what I'm talking about, of course, is Tulsa's ability to throw the football and Rice's inability through the first 2 weeks to stop the pass. And it doesn't get any easier for the Rice Owls because they still have problems back there. Jason Hebert went out last week against Michigan with a groin problem. That's where the domino effect starts, because Dan Dawson will now move from the bandit linebacker to the strong safety spot. Now, he is one of those guys with the proverbial nose for the football and just kind of makes things happen, but it also makes 2 more changes because Travis Ortega will now move from strong safety to bandit, and Antoine Schell will be moving to free safety. So there's going to be a lot of changes in that defensive secondary, and don't think Mr. Blankenship doesn't know that as far as Tulsa is concerned. As for the conditions, absolutely perfect down here on the field. It is going to be warm. It's going to get into triple digits when you get down here on the field, but relatively speaking, not too bad when you consider it was 108 degrees about 2 weeks ago here in Houston. Bill Land, let's go back up to you.
Thanks, Kevin. And those of you that have ever been in the Houston area realize that that's not a misprint on that 29% humidity. It's not 92, it's actually 29, and that's what makes it really a very pleasant day for football. Rice will kick it off as the Owls kick it off to the University of Tulsa. Brandon Skeen, and it's taken at the 15-yard line and brought down at the 27-yard line. University of Tulsa will operate there as the Golden Hurricane with George Delonia bringing it out. And good field position for Tulsa. Let's take a look as offensively you start with quarterback and Josh Blankenship at 52%, 587 yards throwing in 2 games. The offensive line, they've had to shuffle around a little bit. Schiller getting his 34th consecutive start, though. And the wideouts, watch out, as they have got a pair in Scholes and Brown that are among the national leaders in receiving already. And a penalty before we get this first play underway. And Larry Brown might have jumped off for the Owls.
Repeat, first down.
Keith Burns, the first-year head coach for the University of Tulsa, was on the staff of Ken Hatfield at Arkansas in 1984 as a graduate assistant, just trying to figure out if he wanted to get into this business. And certainly has put some new enthusiasm into the program, but no W's yet. He wants to turn that around today. And Tulsa, on the 1st and 5, comes out throwing and connects it to Scholes for the first down. Here's defensively with 3 of the 4 returning starters up front on the line for the Rice Owls. We mentioned the shuffle that is going on at linebacker. Travis Ortega is a big-time hitter. And in the secondary for the Owls, as they continue to move people around, McMillan's played well. Shell getting the start today, and Dawson, of course, a veteran performer. First down, and the throw again out on the flank, and is complete to the 45-yard line of Rice as Josh McMillan makes the tackle on the play, and this time going to Donald Scholes, a junior from Enid, Oklahoma.
Bill, what Tulsa's doing early here, a little bit of no huddle. Go ahead and throw it out to their wide receivers with the speed. Try to make a play on the outside. Make Rice go ahead and expand the field. Take them out of the middle of the field and try to work to the sideline. Doing a good job of it so far. 2nd
and 5 at the 46 for Josh Blankenship and the Golden Hurricane. Tulsa coming off a 36-26 loss to Oklahoma State last week. Long count for Blankenship. Hands it off and close to the first down for Ken Bohannon, junior from Garland, Texas. He is 6'1", 234. Rashard Pittman makes the tackle. Pittman, a junior from Marianna, Florida, the stud linebacker for the Rice Owls.
Tulsa's going to be predominantly a one-back offense. Ken Bohannon, the tailback on that play, is going to be in there. He's a better blocker than the other tailbacks they have. All the other tailbacks on that ball club, Bill, are true freshmen, starting with Dante Hart. You'll see 3 or 4 guys in the backfield as well. So it's going to be a little bit of an interesting thing to see how Tulsa approaches the game from a running standpoint.
Keith Burns in his first year and came from Arkansas, where he was the defensive coordinator for 2 years. They went 9-2 and 8-4, bowl games both years, and also coached here at Rice back in the late 80s, early 90s under Fred Goldsmith. So somewhat of a homecoming for Keith Burns. They talk it over and Blankenship last week, 373 yards for 2 touchdowns. And Coach Burns telling us the thing that impressed him most was the poise his team kept in coming back. They got down early and no quit in the game.
That's exactly right. They did come back in the ball game. They got down very early, and Josh Blankenship tossed it 49 times last week. I don't think they want to throw it that much today, but they've thrown it a couple times successfully so far.
3rd and 2, and Bohannon appears to have the first down, depending on where they spot the football. About the 41.5-yard line. And there's kind of a look at how Tulsa is trying to establish a little bit of the run.
Well, they're going to run it inside, try to go ahead and penetrate into the Rice defense. Rice basically runs a 4-man front with 4 linebackers that spread across the field. Kevin Eschenfelder talked about the changes on defense for the Owls, and we'll go through that a little bit here. The biggest change is that Antoine Shell is on the field now on a consistent basis instead of Jason Hebert, who is out. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how the Rice Owls defend this wide-open Tulsa attack.
The delay was they've had some problems with the scoreboard, the clock here, and the clock will be operated from the field by the officials. So that's where the slowdown has taken place here. They better get that thing working, Ken Hatfield says, because I don't need to stop it. His whole deal is ball control, and let's get this thing going.
Ken would like it in his pocket and let it run the entire time. That's the way he runs his football game. Actually, I know when he's on offense, he wants to get that clock running continuously. That's the predominant way he runs his offense, running it down the field.
They're the fellas. We don't have their website, so you can go ahead and just yell at your TV screen today. Mike Rhodes and George Gusman, as well as Dan Romeo, Greg Meyer, and Jack Hill, our WAC crew. In the WAC opener. Now Keith Burns.
Trying to make some friends over there.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that Coach Hatfield doesn't have any control of that clock.
He said home field advantage is enough.
You know, Keith got his first opportunity to coach as a graduate assistant with Coach Hatfield. And,
there's a clock malfunction. Time will be kept on the field. First down for Tulsa.
Okay, I think we've all figured that out. And unless they're going to go out and individually inform all of the fans here, maybe we'll actually get underway with some football. 1st and 10 on the 41. Blankenship with the play action and the rollout. Incomplete. He had some success with that last week in the Oklahoma State game. Ortega covering on the play. The intended receiver was Darrell Wimberly, a freshman from Tulsa, 6 foot 180.
A little good job that time by Ortega in the secondary. A little half-roll boot pass that time by Blankenship. He put the ball on target, but Ortega, good coverage coming underneath and knocking the ball away. This secondary makes a lot of plays for the Owls. I know they make those guys come up and make plays on the perimeter. The defensive line are not that active, but they're as far as making plays. But the secondary does a good job for this football team.
2nd and 10 and on the ground. Ortega makes the tackle again on Bohannon. We'll also see Dante Hart a little bit, another Garland player who is a freshman. Bohannon getting the calls right now. He had 20 carries for 56 yards coming in. And also has caught a pass out of the backfield. Now the Rice fans trying to encourage their defense to be up for it on 3rd down and 7 from the 38. Bohannon, the lone running back. Blankenship. Plenty of time now, steps up and in trouble. And fumbles the football. And I believe Tulsa's going to maintain possession of it. Okay, now they're calling it down by an incomplete pass.
Well, that was just good coverage by the Owls defense that time. Blankenship trying to make something happen. You see him scrambling around here. Jake Jackson's going to come in the right side of your screen, almost get in there and pull him down, but he breaks the tackle, and Blankenship trying to make something else happen. Oh, he's actually trying to pitch that ball. That could have been a forward pass as well.
Casey Lipscomb will come on for the punt. Junior from Miami, Oklahoma, 6 foot 231 pounder. Rice will let it go. Lust trying to get a hand on it before it goes into the end zone, but it'll be a touchback. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. No score. Rice getting its hands on the football for the first time here in the first quarter when we come back. Rice first possession as the Owls will take over 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Corey Evans, the 5'11 junior from Richardson, Texas, and they quickly come out, keep it on the ground, and a nice run to start things off as they move the chains on the opening run by Jamie Tyler. Evans getting his 2nd start at quarterback. Corey replacing Jeremy Hurd, who went down with an injury in the season opening win over the University of Houston. And Evans, the first 2 games thrown for just 14, rather 50 yards, and he's run for 27 yards. The offensive line, Bevan is the veteran there starting his 24th consecutive game. And you see the backs and the receivers as we come back for a 2nd and 1. And no problem for Rice as they pick it up. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Owls at the 35-yard line.
Well, one little quick hitting play that time to Vincent Hawkins up inside, a little bit different than the option run. You take those 3 or 4 tailbacks that you're going to have in the ball game and go ahead and pop them through there every now and then, keep them honest instead of running the option attack. And let's see if they can soften up that Tulsa defense a little bit.
Evans flips it, and the tackle for loss made on Hawkins that time by C.J. Scott. Let's take a look at that Tulsa defensive unit as they line up for a 2nd and long situation here. Golden Hurricane, the defensive line with Odom, Robinson, Hewitt, and McLaughlin up front. The linebackers are Sean Farley will need to be the leader today. Hawkins getting the start. Chad Smith is a guy they're really excited about for the future. And Harold Burgess is a key guy in the secondary. I'm going to tell you more about that as we go along. Scott getting his first start today. He has replaced Cedric Lusk. And it is 2nd down and 12 at the 32. The handoff to Sadler, and Sadler brought down on the Rice sideline at the 34, maybe 35-yard line.
Well, this is just a little wrinkle that the offense has. They're going ahead and give it to the halfback coming around behind the backfield, and Sadler has that great speed, Bill. He's moved from cornerback a year ago where he was a starter for a couple of years for this Rice Owl team and Ken Hatfield thought that he gave him a better opportunity to be in the backfield, and he's done very well for him. He came over in a spring practice and played well at the halfback position. They wouldn't put the ball in his hands 10, 15 times today. Let me see what he can do with it. He's got great speed. He caught a big pass a week ago, so they know that he can have some production for him.
3rd and 10 from the 34. Evans back to pass, good protection, then splits it, and Tulsa closed quickly, and the tackle made at the 38-yard line on Corey Evans. Evans has just thrown 14 passes this year, 4 of 14 for 50 yards. McLaughlin in on the stop for the University of Tulsa, and now a 4th and 10 and a punting situation, and that means Travis Hale will come on as Evans gets a breather on the right sideline.
Yeah, that was a good response that time by the Tulsa defense. First time out there against its spread option attack. They shut him down. I know that Jeff McInerney, the defense coordinator from Tulsa, is very pleased with that effort so far.
Hale has averaged 37 yards a kick so far this season. No rush, and he gets off a good one here. The fair catch is called for at the 23-yard line, and that's where Tulsa will get the football back after Scholes signaling for the fair catch. Stay with us. No score. First quarter, Tulsa and Rice on Fox. No score with a little over 10 minutes to go. We have a clock malfunctioning here. We'll keep you posted as close as we can. Next on Fox Sports Net, number 22, Michigan State will take on Missouri, followed by number 5, Texas, battling Stanford. All part of a full day of college football action here on Fox Sports Net. Hope you enjoyed the game earlier between TCU and Northwestern up in Fort Worth. First down here for Tulsa, and Rice swarming to the football. Very minor gain as Rashard Pittman makes the tackle. Pittman 17 tackles for the year coming in here today.
Kind of form their own mob right there, like the Mallargy.
Marching Owl Band, always a treat here at Rice University. 2nd and 8 would be a pickup of 2 for University of Tulsa. Blankenship with a long count for the Hurricane. Bohannon pulls his way out to near the 28-yard line. B.J. Ferguson, junior from Allen, Texas, making the stop. Nose guard.
Bohannon showing his strength, 235 pounds from the tailback, fullback position. Probably better at fullback position, but in this one-back offense, he's going to be asked to play the tailback spot. It's a better blocker, as we talked about earlier in the ball game, and Josh Blankenship, likes to be able to roll and throw the football, and he's got a good blocker back there in Bohannon.
Blankenship, 2 of 4 in the passing game, and Tulsa averaging 3.8 yards per play. They've got a 3rd and 5 here. Blankenship in trouble, escapes one man, keeps the football, but not going to get the first down. Ferguson made the tackle. Jonathan Chisholm is the one that I believe had a hold of Blankenship, but couldn't bring him down. Chisholm 91.
You see here, he just got a good chance of getting him, but he just rolls off. Credit Blankenship his elusiveness, and good job by the rest of the Owl defense corralling him before he gets the first down.
Tulsa will kick it away. Lipscomb. And the fair catch at the 37-yard line by the Owls as White makes the grab, and Rice picks up better field position for this possession as Lipscomb with the punt. First and 10 for the Owls at the 39-yard line. Evans fakes to the fullback, keeps. Got a couple, not to the 43-yard line.
Bill, when you play this Owl offense with Ken Hatfield's bunch, you have to really be assignment-oriented on defense. It's really a big chess game. There's nothing more than that, how the offense is going to approach the defense approach the offense. And when they do this, it's just how you deploy your people. And on defense, I know that Jeff McInerney, the defense coordinator from from Tulsa, he told me that it's going to be very, very much a big effort by their safety, Burgess. Harold Burgess has to do a great job today, number 3 from the middle of the field, and going to make a lot of plays in the alley. And we'll kind of keep up his progress and see how well he tackles on the outside.
2nd and 6. Right up the middle is Tyler as he dives across midfield for a first down. Burgess making the tackle there. And Gary, last year we did the game in Tulsa when Rice was a 20-10 winner. Big plays were the key there. There's one in the passing game, a 20-yard touchdown pass. They kind of lull you to sleep, but also turnovers and then big runs. It's not the 4 and 5 a chunk that get you. It's when they break that big one.
Well, it really does. Sometimes that happens with this offense, but I know that Ken Hatfield would like to go 4 yards per play every single play. He'd be happy to move it 3 plays, the chain on 3 plays every time.
1st and 10, and here's the pass. Incomplete, intended for Gavin Booth. Grand Prairie, Texas, 6'2", 185-pound freshman. He's got 3 receptions this year.
Yeah, they're going to try to stretch the field with Gavin Booth. He's got great speed. He's a 6'9" high jumper, actually a state decathlon champion. Evans wants to throw the ball down the field to him some today and stretch this Tulsa defense.
Yeah, nice to have that kind of leaper in an offense that you don't throw it very much. So sometimes you do have to just say, well, if I can put it out there, he can go get it.
Especially in the red area when they're moving in there, throw it up there in the end zone for him, and then you'll see that happen some possibly today.
2nd and 10 from the 50. No score, first quarter. Pitch out, and Sadler brought down by Burgess again, the free safety.
Well, that's what I'm talking about on Harold Burgess, is free safety. He's going to have to tackle well from the outside. If he doesn't have a lot of tackles today, this Tulsa defense is not going to be playing well. Good job that time coming from the middle of the field. He has the pitch on this, and Ken Hatfield tries to deploy these guys a lot differently than you would expect. Be different people getting the pitch, different people coming inside, and the secondary for Tulsa has to tackle very well today.
Burgess, junior from Chandler, Oklahoma, last year and on 28 tackles. Broke up 3 passes so far this season, and it's 3rd and 5 after Sadler's 5-yard pickup. Sadler 3 carries for 16 yards so far. Evans gonna throw it. Got a man. Oh, Sadler wide open and could not handle it. Sadler, who has a 68-yard TD reception for his only grab this year, would have had another touchdown had he held on here.
Well, what happened, I think, here is you got Harold Burgess kind of sneaking up, and Sadler just ran right past him. You see there, Burgess, right here in the middle of the screen. He couldn't get over there to him. Sadler runs right by him. He's got great speed. He's a 4'3" guy in the 40, but it hit him in a bad spot, Bill. One of those things. I know that Corey Evans is really displeased with that, but just happens sometimes.
So Tulsa dodges a bullet there, and it's 4th down and 5, and the Owls will kick it away with Hale. Scholes, he must have touched it.
Yeah, might have hit him up in the
and scrambled after it, and he recovered it, but Rice comes out of that in really pretty good shape now as Tulsa's back up inside its own 10. We're back with more in a moment. Welcome back to Rice University. 5:41 to go in the first quarter. We're going to flash, well, we're not going to flash back. We're going way back in Rice football. 1957, and Rice in the dark uniforms here against Texas A&M. Back when both these schools were dynamite teams. And running for A&M, that guy look familiar? Well, probably not. John David Crow. He went on, of course, to win the Heisman and A&M athletic director. And Rice coming up with the 7-6 victory over A&M, coached by Paul Bear Bryant. 1957. Gary will have all the details for us on later. He was here.
Yeah.
Here's Tulsa in a hole. Josh Blankenship on 1st and 10. Going for broke and got a man at the 45. And all the way to Rice territory at the 41-yard line. It is Scholes with his 3rd reception. Smith was beaten on the play. What a great pass by Blankenship.
Look at the straight streak pass that time. Got behind Kenny Smith. Scholes gets the inside release. You see here on the bottom of your screen. Can't look back in the backfield, Kenny. You can't do that. You got to run and get your receiver. Scholes does a good job of hauling it in. And, well, if he'd had his feet on him, he might have been able to make a move for a bigger play. Great job of execution that time by Tulsa.
52 yards on the pass play by Blankenship. He's had a 78-yarder this year. And now they come back with it on the ground on 1st and 10 at the Rice 41-yard line. Vanover, Jeff Vanover, you see number 4 coming out of there, in on the stop.
Well, that's what this offense can do, Bill. When they throw the ball around the field, they'll dink it to the right, dink it to the left, and then they'll take the speedsters and go ahead and send them down the field and make a big play out of it. Got them out of a big hole back there, starting on what, their 6 or 7 yard line for this drive, and now across midfield to the Rice 37.
2nd and 7 at the 38 after the 3-yard pickup. Richardson, he's pushed out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Eric Richardson, a freshman from Duncanville, Texas. He's stopped by Ortega.
One of the 4 freshman tailbacks you're going to see here. Blankenship, little slip screen to the outside. Let him run out in space. Nobody really there to contest him. Ortega trying to make the play on the sideline. Shows you the good speed that the freshman has.
When you talk to Keith Burns about the team, he's obviously excited about development in his receivers, but he doesn't know what he's got with his running backs, and I think he wants to find out today, Gary. I think he's excited about the potential, but you never know with these freshmen what they're going to do. 3rd and 3 at the 34. The challenge here, another freshman, Dante Hart, his first carry, and he is stuffed by Clint Johnson, junior from Mesquite, Texas. Gets a freshman from Garland, Texas.
Well, anytime you get penetration into the backfield like Johnson does here, look there, good job getting in there in the backfield, getting penetration. Hey, make the big play. Be happy about it.
Again, our clock malfunctioning. We'll keep you posted the best we can here as far as situation in the quarter. It's 4th and 4 at the 35 for Tulsa. No score. Blankenship finds a man and an incomplete pass. It was Corey Brown who got popped there on the reception. Vanover making the hit to knock the ball loose. And it'll be Rice football as Tulsa going for it on the 4th down. Here's another look.
Well, Vanover's going to be at the top of your screen here. You can see Blankenship trying to find somebody open. He tosses it out there, and had no protection problem. You see just a big hit here. Vanover knocks the ball out of him. Good job of that time by the Rice defense. Give it for one big play, but they didn't bend there. The 4 downs in that territory in their plus side of the field, and Rice came up the winner.
Burns looks on as Rice comes back, of course, with the option. Scott makes the tackle on the play. Griffin, the ball carrier. Anthony, a senior from Gulfport, Mississippi. He and Bradley share the right halfback spot.
Good speed here to the outside. You see him, extracurricular activity, taking out a couple of the spectators. I saw the table with the cups go flying.
Flags go flying here everywhere. 2nd and 1 at the 45.
Prior to the snap, full start on the offense. 5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
Ready for an Oberman fix. Sunday Night Sports just got a whole lot better as the Keith Oberman Evening News airs tomorrow at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Each Sunday night, Keith provides his unique perspective on the world of sports, wrapping up the week's events and taking a look forward as to what's ahead. The Keith Oberman Evening News tomorrow at 10 p.m. only on Fox Sports Net.
Take a look at David Lee, the offensive coordinator here for Rice. He's been with Ken Hatfield for a long time, and he calls all the plays. Coach Hatfield's going to call situational things.
Off the left side, the ball carrier for Rice as the Owls get the first down. White providing it. Burgess on the tackle.
Little misdirection. They call it a cross-butt play. You fake one way, come across with your tailback to the other side. Good job at the point of attack. Getting a hole there for the tailback running through. And you see this Rice offense. They've done pretty well just off tackle, diving it early in the ball game. Now here later in the first quarter.
Sean White just 5'6", 175. He got through there in a hurry. Speaking of which, another quick hitter as the Owls starting to get a little rhythm. Robbie Beck, a freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, and Harold Burgess makes the tackle.
Well, that's one thing Jeff McInerney told me he was really fearful of, is the fullback, the quick hitter inside. You have to be assignment oriented and take care of that fullback. Otherwise, if you try to slant one way or try to angle your defensive lineman, that's the result of what could happen. It looks like a pretty good play. 9 yards on that carry by the big fullback.
Beck scored a couple of touchdowns this season, 20 carries for 43 yards coming in. Another 2nd and 1 for Rice at the 42 of Tulsa. No score, but the Owls marching. Evans looking to throw. Chase from the pocket. Scampers out of bounds, but got the first down. And Rice showing pass a lot more today, Gary, than maybe we expected. Smith was the man on the play there for Tulsa.
Well, as expected, it's going to be play action pass. What happened here is Harold Burgess, the free safety, he got caught up in no man's land again, and the receiver was coming back outside, and he said, I just got to grab him. That's what they're going to have, his defensive holding in the secondary. Little change up here. Maybe Rice is going to, try to throw the ball maybe more than 4 or 5% of the time this year.
On the defense. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
And now Rice is in field goal territory as the ball placed just inside the 30. We're told near 3 minutes 30 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. And again, White squirts up the middle to the 24-yard line. Sean White.
What this offense does, it makes you, on the defense, makes you kind of sit back on your heels or play over-aggressive. There's not really a middle ground, and that's what's happening now for Tulsa. Their linebackers are not flowing very well. They're just popping them right off tackle. Those are pretty good crossbuck plays that Rice is being successful with.
7 different ball carriers for Rice, and here's another shot down to the 15-yard line. As the Owls come back with the fullback, Robbie Beck. Ethan McCory makes the tackle, a sophomore out of Oklahoma City. But a pickup of 9, and it's 1st and 10 from they'll mark it officially as the 14, but actually closer to the 15-yard line for the Owls.
Well, when Corey Evans comes down the line, he's reading inside. If he can give it to the big fullback, he's going to do it time in and time out. If they can get that consistent yardage inside, they're going to take the sure thing and give it to him.
Sean White, still powerful, inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. White picks up 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. McCory makes the stop for the Hurricane.
Well, White is getting the benefit of Heath Fowler and Rod Bevan on the left side. They're doing a good job of blocking over there, opening the holes for those two guys. Those two guys are doing a very good job blocking, and the big fullback, and now White they're making good positive yardage here, and the Owls are on a pretty good drive.
1:45 remaining here in the first quarter. Evans, a bit of a broken play there, and there'll be a loss as Hewitt is there. Jeff from Lake Arrowhead, California. And Odom also went in the play. Chris Odom, a senior from Poto, Oklahoma.
I don't think Evans wants to call that play. A little quarterback counter. Go ahead and fake it to the left and let me step back, but cavalry came through there.
No thanks. 3rd and 4 at the 8. Interesting situation here for Rice. Near a minute to go in the first quarter. Evans hands it off and did not get the first down. Damon Robinson made the tackle as Beck comes out of the pile.
Well, with that fullback coming through there on the option play, Bill, you have a choice on defense. You're going to basically assign 4 to 6 players on the fullback alone. If you look at both sides of the ball, the right and the left side, you get the defensive tackle, your inside linebackers, actually your secondary could be inside there. You could have safeties up there near the line of scrimmage. Just to take the fullback out of the play, then you have to worry about the double and triple option on the outside with the quarterback and the pitchman.
4th and 2. They need to get to the 4 for the first down. Beck got to the 5. It will be, I would think, a first down. Looks like he made it.
Maybe a foot or so past the 5-yard line, and
they may measure.
Yeah, they're going to measure for sure.
Good support from the secondary coming up. Chris Miller stopped that second effort. Let's see if it was enough to give Tulsa the ball back. It is. The Tulsa defense jumping as they've stopped them. Keith Burns excited on the Hurricane sideline. He is admittedly grasping and reaching for anything positive in any part of any game, Gary, because he said this program that has not had a winner in so long, since 91, since they've had a winning football team, he said, guys, even though we've had some kids that have come from winning programs, here, he said, we've got to get them to draw from every positive that we get in the game.
Yeah, they're trying to win at all costs. He knows they need to get a good win under their belt to get some momentum. Keith Burns is a quality coach and really ready to be a coach at this level.
That's the end of the first period. No score. Tulsa will get the football inside its own 5 to start the second period. You're watching it all on Fox Sports Net. Beautiful new ballpark of the Houston Astros that at the moment is hosting a tour stop for Jim Rome, as he's got his clones gathered here in Houston.
We'll have a take or two.
Yeah, of course, Jim with his radio show, but of course on Fox Sports Net, catching with the last word. Come to think of it, he's usually got the first word in between too, doesn't he?
I think he does get the last word.
Right here, the Owls, as we got a little bit of a delay, they think they've got the clock fixed, so we'll see if that works as Josh Blankenship gets a breather. And let's take the helmet off. Josh, a sophomore out of Tulsa Union High School, that his father, the head coach, Bill Blankenship, and Thursday night, Union played Jenks, the two big rivals in the Tulsa metro area, in front of a crowd of 35,000 at the University of Tulsa's Kelly Stadium in a game that was won on a last-second play by Jenks. But obviously, Josh has soaked up a lot from his father, who once was a TU quarterback as well.
Well, he's been around a quarterback coach, a football coach all his life, and it does. These players who have a high school coach, their father is a coach, and they play for him. You're around football all the time. A lot of it's going to sink in, and those are the attributes that you can't teach a guy in 2 to 3 weeks of practice, but that's a long time of learning over the years through his father's tutelage, and it's benefiting Josh Blankenship on the field.
Mentioned Keith Burns had spent some time here at Rice as an assistant under Fred Goldsmith from 89 to 92. He gave us his thoughts about coming back home, so to speak. And we'll share those with you at some time today. 1st and 10 on the 5-yard line for Tulsa. And not much on that first down play, as Blankenship forced to keep the football, and Jake Jackson makes the tackle.
Yeah, Josh just turned out the wrong way. Everyone is blocking for a lead play to his left, and he steps out to the right side. Take a look here. There's nobody there to give it to. I better do something with it. Well, good heady play. He got a yard or two on it.
Yeah, they're going to call it 2nd and 8. The Tulsa backs lined up in the end zone. Coming out of there is Hart. Good burst to get across the 10-yard line, but still going to be 3rd and around 4 or 5 as Justin Engler made the tackle. Engler, a sophomore from Denton, Texas, 6'2", 205-pounder.
On Tulsa, their offense coordinator Jim Gilstrap, I talked to him, and he's a longtime football coach and coached some in the Canadian Football League, so he knows a lot about throwing the football and deploying people around the field, and he's going to try to use some different ways to move the ball down the field against the Rice Owls. But backed up, you don't have a lot of choices that you can do.
3rd and 3 for the Hurricane. Blankenship to throw. Got a man, Roach, 1st down and more, out at the 40-yard line. And Tulsa will move the chains, and maybe more importantly, gets out of a huge hole.
Well, just a missed assignment here in the Rice secondary. Allow Roach to come through to the outside. You see there, cornerback and safety are playing up. Looks like Antoine Shell might have had him, or the cornerback on the outside, but good job that time by Tulsa executing. Little play action, fake inside, hold everybody in there, and let someone slip behind the defense.
Jared Roach, his first reception of the day from Blankenship. He is a redshirt freshman from Watonga, Oklahoma. 1st and 10 at the 41 for the Hurricanes. Still no score. Hart. He's met by the heart of that defensive front for the Rice Owls this time, as Dante going nowhere, and actually a slight loss on the play for the Golden Hurricane.
Something Kevin Eschenfelder talked about at the beginning of the ball game is Jason Hebert, the starting free safety, is not in the ball game. He was hurt a week ago at the University of Michigan game in the 3rd quarter. So they've had to move some players around. Travis Ortega is going to be moved to the outside linebacker spot. Dan Dawson moving back to free safety, and Antoine Shell has moved into the secondary to play, and those 3 guys are going to have to hold down that job out there. They've only got 1 person who can handle any one of those key backup roles, so there's only 4 guys to play 3 spots.
2nd and 10, and Blankenship trying to dump it over the middle, and Richardson got caught up in the line. Blankenship is now 4 of 8 for 102 yards this afternoon. The big one, a 52-yarder to Scholes.
No foul. No foul. The ball was tipped behind the line. Therefore, no one eligible is downfield.
That'll make it 3rd and 10 from the 41. 13 minutes to go before halftime. Bill Land, Gary Reasons, Kevin Eschenfelder with you here at Rice Stadium. The Western Athletic Conference league opener for Keith Burns and the Hurricane and the Rice Owls. And you see Tulsa, #1 in the WAC in attempts. I think they're going here, of course, on 3rd and 10. Blankenship got time. Just overthrowing Scholes. He was pretty well covered out there as well. Ortega on the play. Travis, the senior from Rockdale, Texas. Kind of a do-it-all type in the secondary as Blankenship goes to visit on the sideline, and Tulsa will kick it away.
Josh Blankenship did a little bit overthrow that time. He couldn't get the ball down to him, and Ortega was there ready to make the play as well. So good job that time by the Rice defense.
Lipscomb, who's averaged 35 yards per kick, comes on, stands on his own 26-yard line. Over the head of Sean White. Tulsa trying to down it. It went out of bounds. No.
Went right through the pylon, Bill.
Some vision by that official. What a difficult call. A 59-yard punt. Flag is thrown. We'll sort it out for you when we come back from this brief break.
Interesting here on the punt. Watch Tariq Green here on the left side of your screen, going to cover the punt, and you see the football here. Watch it now as it travels. It's going to hit the pylon. The referee is right there, the official. It hits it, goes into the end zone. Good job, good position by the official, and a good call.
And then tack on a penalty on Tulsa. Personal foul, and it's going to bring it out to the 35-yard line. So Rice goes from a hair of having that ball inside the 1 to excellent field position. 12:41 to go 2nd quarter, and the Owls will have it on their own 35-yard line.
Bill, one thing we've been watching here is Harold Burgess, the free safety for Tulsa, how he's going to play. So far, he's had 5 unassisted tackles, 1 assist in the 1st quarter alone, so six hits, and here he comes again.
White got a great block out front and got to nearly midfield. Gilbert Okoronkwo, watch him lead the block out here.
Well, Corey Evans coming down the line. Here's the option. Option your man on the outside. Pitch it to the tailback coming around the corner. This is how the option works. Okoronkwo does a great job of containing, getting a chance for his tailback to come around to the outside. And
he stacked up 3 of them.
He sure did. He's a big receiver. He's about 6'3".
And on the 1st and 10, Rice, nothing fancy. Beck coming off the left side. Stopped by Hewitt.
Robbie's got a few carries inside. They've done a pretty good job for them from that fullback spot. Picking up some tough yards. That's what Ken Hatfield would like. Get on 1st down, get about 4 yards, and I tell you, that's a defensive coordinator's nightmare, is being able to call a defense now when it's 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5.
Beck 5 for 25 and White 4 for 34 to lead Rice today. White again on the 2nd and 6. Going to move the chains again, I believe. 41-yard line. Brad Hawkins, sophomore from Jenks, Oklahoma, on the stop for the Hurricanes. 6'3", 230.
That's almost too fast for Ken Hatfield. 2 plays in the first down. He'd like to go 3. But move it on the ground anytime. He likes to get that clock running, that's for sure. Ken Hatfield likes to run the ball down the field, control the clock, keep his defense off the field. That's how this spread option attack works at its best.
Going up the middle, Griffin. Anthony Griffin to the 37 is where the knee went down, and Sam Rayburn, the tackler for the University of Tulsa. Rayburn is a sophomore from Chickasha. 6'3", 282, down near the Oklahoma City area. And clock moving, 11:18 to go in the half. No score. Been an interesting opening part of the game, though. Both teams having some success offensively, but unable to go the long haul. Beck shedding tacklers, 25, 20, and rolled out of bounds as Robbie Beck, an impressive run before Burgess hangs on and pushes him out of play.
Mind you, Robbie Beck is just a freshman out of high school. Does a good job coming inside. He gets his pad level low. Coaches like that. He can take on the tacklers. You see him breaking tackles. Watching ball control there, cover up. Knows that Burgess is coming over the top. Hey, I'm not going to fumble. I've got a big play under my belt. Good job that time by the young fullback.
Ken Hatfield was telling me about his terrific speed, and when you combine that with a guy who was voted the most dedicated player on his high school team with that bulk, you got the idea some good things could happen. 1st and 10, and now Evans with a keeper. Stiff arms Farley, and he is pushed out of bounds with a flag thrown. Scott is the one that forced him out.
We may have a holding here on the outside. You see Corey coming around the outside. A little stiff arm there.
And see if that's a face mask or not.
I guess.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
Yeah, I thought it was Brandon Manning, the tight end on the right side. He kind of had a little cloth about 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, and that's what they call.
Just thinking as that official was stuffing that hanky, Ken Hatfield was coming out. I think he had another place for him to stick it. As this kind of been the bugaboo here, though, is now Rice gets set back. It's 1st and 16 from the 22. Just as he pitched the football, Evans was clobbered, but White makes a nice play out of it and takes it down to the 16-yard line. Burgess making the tackle. Remember last year, Chad Richardson, the beating he would take before he would pitch the football?
Well, these quarterbacks take a beating, that's for sure, and a good job of pitching the back, coming around the outside, and C.J. Scott misses the tackle here, or just knocks him out of bounds.
Rice, 3 penalties, 20 yards today. The Owls, 13 on the year coming into this game for 102 yards. 2nd and 9 at the 15-yard line. Evans sets up the throw. Got a man off the fingertips of Booth in the end zone. Gavin Booth.
That's the kind of play in a situation they want to try to get the ball to Gavin Booth, get him behind the defense, throw it up high, let his athleticism take over where he can jump over and catch the ball. You see him, he's going to streak to the inside here. He's open, he's got his hand up. Corey Evans tosses it up there. The big receiver jumps just over his fingertips. That's just pretty good execution by the Owls. Just a little bit better toss, and they'd have had a touchdown.
Booth 6'2", Scott covering him at 5'7", and they come out of it with naught. Evans 0 for 3 now. 3rd and 9 at the 15, and out of the shotgun. Evans keeps the football and sets up either a 4th and short or a field goal attempt.
And quarterback draw all the way that time for Corey Evans. You can see them trying to park the C's in the middle of the line there. Good job by Tulsa recognizing it and holding their own and stopping. Sure looks like going to have Crabtree come out, try a field goal here.
Derek Crabtree, the kicker that Gary's referring to, is a 6'4" junior from Duncanville, Texas. He's 1 of 3 this year, hit a 42-yarder in the 30-27 overtime victory over Houston. This is a 27-yarder for Crabtree. And he he splits it, and Rice is on the board. A 27-yard field goal. And the Owls take a 3-0 lead with 9:16 to go before halftime. Rice with a 3-0 lead on the field goal by Crabtree. Ken Hatfield knows this offense as well as anybody, and he also knows when it's clicking and when it's not. He told us a little bit about that.
We have about a 15-play drive for a score. Whenever we get to a situation where we know we can execute about a 14 or 15-play drive and we know we're hitting on all cylinders, and sometimes it takes a while to get that going in a ball game. It took a while in the first game we did because we had a freshman quarterback, Jeremy Hurd, and we were trying a lot of other plays to really take the ball out of his hands early just to calm him down. The greatest thing happened in that game as a true freshman, as a freshman redshirt, he hit the first 3 passes, hit some big passes on us, which gave him a lot of confidence. And then about that time, he breaks a finger.
Coach Hatfield talking about Hurd, who had started the season as the quarterback. Of course, taking over now is Evans, and also Wolf gets some playing time last week against Michigan. That drive was 56 yards, 9 plays, took 3:25. The kickoff, the short one, taken by Tulsa at the 34-yard line. Carey making the grab. Keith Carey, a senior from Dallas, from Lake Highlands.
Well, Ken Hatfield's got to be happy. Wasn't a 15-play drive. They're still clicking. 9 plays on that drive. 3.5 minutes or so.
3-0, 9:10 to go in the second quarter. Josh Blankenship brings the Hurricane out. Tulsa, total offense for the year averaging 334. 6th in the WAC. Rice 277. They are 8th. Tulsa will put it on the ground to start things off on this 1st and 10. Vanover making the tackle that time.
That's our first look at Dante Hart in there at tailback, just hitting it right up inside. The young freshman as well. As we talked about, there's 3 or 4 freshman tailbacks for the Tulsa Hurricane going to be back there today. Take a look at Josh's numbers for today, 4 of 9.
Blankenship's thrown for 102. Tulsa's run for just 28. Rice has run for 154 yards already. Blankenship scrambling, nowhere to go this time though, as Jake Jackson gets the sack. Jake, a senior from New London, Texas, a returning starter, and his first sack of the season.
Credit the secondary for the Rice Owls this time on coverage. Good job there, and you see the protection starts to break down when he realizes there's nobody open, and then Big Jake does a good job there. Gets him a sack in the backfield. A little closer look at it here. So you got to keep coming when you're a defender. You're just rushing that quarterback. You never know when he's going to break loose and come your way, and Jake Jackson was the recipient of that play.
3rd and 15 for the 29. Blankenship again to put it up. Flushed out of the pocket, unloads it nearly, and it is picked off. It got tipped. Wait a minute. The official coming up. It's being ruled incomplete.
I tell you, Bill, from up here, looks like he made a heck of an effort diving to try to get that ball. It's going to bring up 4th down nonetheless.
And Tulsa gets a break here. Well, we'll see. They are not.
Well, the ball is tipped. You're going to see it here. Blankenship throws across the middle into traffic. Good job that time by the Rice defense. You see Gatlin dive and catch it. And, from that angle, I really couldn't tell whether he pulled it in or not.
The official that made the call, though, was looking directly at it. He saw it and quickly rushed in to say incompletion. So Tulsa will get the opportunity to kick it away with a timeout called, and 7:39 remaining in the second period.
Well, credit Roger Henshaw, the defense pointer for Rice, doing a pretty good job of calling this football game so far and getting his players ready to play. They've done a good job defending that big wide open passing attack that Tulsa has at their disposal and doing a good job against the run as well. So they're doing a good job overall defensively for the Owls.
Mentioned before, Keith Burns had been here at Rice University and talked about coming back here where he was an assistant in the late 80s.
Oh, it's great to obviously be back. A lot of memories. I just saw Barbara Toller, the secretary, who was here during my time, and she's seen a lot of football coaches come and go, and she's been a real constant, consistent member of this university, and it was great to see her. But for me, my youngest son was born here, so there are a lot of great memories and times here. We were part of a staff that came in under Fred Goldsmith that inherited the nation's longest losing streak, and also Rice hadn't had a winning season in 35 years. So all that changed in the 4 years that I was here, and it was a great experience for me.
4th and 15 from the 29, and Lipscomb booms it to the 19, and Rice will return it there. White fumbles the football. It's loose. Tulsa signaling that the Hurricane has it. Nothing from the officials yet, though. Well, White saw a little room to operate. And they're still fighting for it, I believe. It is Tulsa football. The Hurricane has recovered.
Well, good job of coverage that time. White's going to step up here, and you can see number 6 step in here and get a pretty good pop on him. Right on the football, you see his arm there. It breaks loose, and Tulsa's going to come up with it in Owl territory.
Keith Carey, 94, coming up with the big play. And also,
it's a big hit there by 6.
Gavin Engel.
Engel does a good job of knocking the ball loose, creating the fumble.
Engel, senior from Scottsdale, Arizona. 1st and 10, ball on the 30 for the Hurricane now. Blankenship hands it off to Scholes on the end around. And he appears to have the first down.
Penalty down, Bill.
Maybe
probably
a hold.
Probably holding in the backfield. That play took a long time to develop. Scholes came around from his wide receiver spot on the right side of the field, and that's a long time to ask those linemen to hold those blocks and do a reverse. He tried to set up a pass play.
Push it back! Push it back!
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
The flag was thrown at Blankenship's feet. Did he get a hold in?
Coming around here. No, it's going to be at the top of your screen right there. That's the hold. See him hold up. You'll see the official throw the flag right here at him. Good job, that guy's coverage on that. Good replay, and you can see what happened. Scholes, made a pretty good play there. They held him out, but it's just a long play to develop and asking an offensive tackle a long time to stay on a block.
First and 25 from the 45-yard line now as Tulsa, after the big break, going in reverse. Blankenship drops it over to Roach, and he pulls forward and has picked it all up in one pop down to the 18-yard line. Boy, Blankenship showing the touch, showing the long ball. We're seeing a little bit of everything from Josh today.
Well, I think the good thing about this is the poise. He sits in there and waits for Roach to come open. Roach is coming across the field between the linebackers, gets behind Pittman there, the linebacker, and see him getting there in front of Dawson.
And Tulsa on 2nd and 10, as they got back what they lost in the penalty. And now it'll be 2nd and 6, beg your pardon, as they had the first down. So 4 yards on the pickup at the 14-yard line now for the Hurricane. Blankenship. Underthrown. Scholes with a Corey Brown, well covered. Corey Brown came in with 14 catches, 10th in the nation. And Scholes, 16 catches. Both high in the NCAA ratings. In fact, Scholes, 338 yards receiving, or the 228 yards receiving, 5th in the NCAA.
Big third down here, Bill, 3rd and 6. That last play, they let Josh roll out to see the field. Good safe place to throw the football to the outside, and see what they do here.
3rd and 6 at the 14. Blankenship just off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Corey Brown.
I think that's Lacrone to the outside, yeah.
Beg your pardon.
Ortega had coverage on the inside. The ball, if it had been a little better thrown, it could have been a completion and possibly turned up for a first down for him. Keith Burns is going to elect to go here for the field goal.
Chris Ernest will come on, 6'2" junior from here in Houston. At Second Baptist High School, 3 of 3 on the year, a 47-yarder, his longest. And this one will be 31, let's see, maybe 32. 32-yarder for Ernest. And he hits it. So the field goal kickers have matched one another. And
we got a running into the kicker penalty here at the end. This is kind of a tough call.
Smith, I believe. Kenny Smith is the player that's going to be whistled for it.
Yeah, Smith came from the near side of the cross in front of the kicker and was trying to lay out for it. He slid, and then the kicker actually went into him. The referee threw a flag from the near sideline, or the far sideline. They may pick it up.
Running into the kicker, 5-yard penalty is declined. Field goal is good.
Tulsa not going to take points off the board. They want something positive, and they get it with a 32-yard field goal thanks to Chris Ernest. We're tied, and we're back with more in a moment. Tulsa ties it up at 3 with 6:17 to go here in the first half. Next week, start your college football Saturday with a pregame show presented by Rivals.com at 11:30 a.m. That's Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Then at 3:30 Eastern, it's triple header action starting with number 14, UCLA, and followed by Houston at Texas, and then Cal and Fresno State of the WAC right here on Fox Sports Net. The Owls and the Hurricane and the WAC opener are even at 3. Bill Lamb, Gary Reasons, and Kevin Eschenfelder with you. And Tulsa will now kick it off after the 32-yard field goal.
Well, it's something positive for Keith Burns and his Tulsa Hurricane offense to come down the field and elected not to take the penalty. Would have been a 4th and 1 situation down there inside the red area.
See the drive, 16 yards, and that came after the fumble on the kick return by White. And White takes it and stepping out of the end zone. They'll bring it out at the 20-yard line. So Tulsa did take advantage of the turnover and got some points out of it. And we start all over with 6:12 to go.
Bill, just to tell you how even his ball game is, Tulsa's had the ball 28 snaps and Rice 29. Tulsa has 153 yards so far and Rice 154. So pretty much even Steven so far in his ball game.
Rice led in the rushing game by Beck, 7 carries, 52 yards. Tulsa, on the other hand, Blankenship has thrown for 129. He's hit 5 of 13. And here's Evans bringing them out 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Owls. Sadler popping pads, and Scott makes the tackle at the 24-yard line. Let's go down to Kevin Eschenfelder, our sideline man. Kevin.
All right, thank you very much, Bill Lana. You're looking at the actual coin that they used to toss before the game, the 50th anniversary here at Rice Stadium, and a lot of big games have been played here over the years. A lot of bowl games, of course. The Super Bowl played here in 1974 when Miami knocked off the Minnesota Vikings. And Tulsa, they know a little bit about bowl games here as well. 1964, they knocked off Ole Miss in the Bluebonnet Bowl. In 1965, came back here and lost to Tennessee. Back upstairs.
And both these teams would love to get back in the bowl business. Evans to throw, got a man deep, and it is knocked down, and no flags. Intended for Okoronkwo, and covering on the play was Brett Butler, sophomore from Jenks, Oklahoma.
Well, they had what they wanted. Okoronkwo behind the defense, and Corey Evans, if he'd have laid this ball out a little bit more, you see the play action passer. He sets his feet, does a good job. Go ahead and throw it out there, and Okoronkwo has to slow down a step and come back and allow Butler to reach in and make the play. Good job of catching up by Butler. See the play here at the end.
You know, Kevin was talking about bowls. The WAC this year is tied in with 3. The GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl, the Silicon Valley Bowl out in San Jose, and the Humanitarian up in Boise. Evans. Overthrown Booth, and Scott was covering on that play. And Rice will now Kick it away. It'll be 4th and 7. And Tulsa will get it back with 5:18 to go. And Ken Hatfield's got to be a little disappointed. Vintage Rice, they'd take that ball and you wouldn't get it back if you're Tulsa, whether they score or not.
Well, I think that Coach Hatfield is really wanting to utilize the strength of his quarterback, Corey Evans. He knows he can throw the ball better than any quarterback he's had here in a long time. He's got a good, strong arm, and he's shown it today trying to throw it. And instead of doing the 3 yards in a cloud of dust every time.
Don't hold.
And the kick away by Hale, and Tulsa will return it. Scholes still on his feet. And Scholes gets to the 46-yard line. And Tulsa, excellent field position. Ken Hatfield knows a lot about playing. You take a little flashback. Back in the early 60s, 63, 64, Ken Hatfield, one of the best punt returners in all of college football. Now, this one is against Rice. And
just so happens to be
62, I believe. And if he doesn't get a whole lot of this, he's probably going to shoot us for even showing this one. Because, wait a minute, you got my big one at Arkansas. We won the national championship, don't you? What are you showing this one for? 1963, Rice beating Arkansas 7-0. Back to the live action, and Blankenship wants it right here, and both receiver and defender fall down. Ortega was covering on the play. And
trying to get it to Wimberly. They're right down the seam, and both of them look like they got either their feet tangled up there, or one of those turf snakes jumped up and grabbed them.
No
Blankenship
flag.
throwing it here deep, and see late on the play, they're both falling. He almost has a chance to catch that ball on his back. Would have been a heck of a play.
2nd and 10 from the 46. I like the call, though. You get the ball back, you've had a little positive, you've scored, your defense is held, and go for it. 2nd and 10 at the 46 now. Wimberly and Scholes to the top of your screen. They go that way, but it's Roach, the tight end, cutting across and couldn't quite hang on to it.
Trying to stretch the field across the field that time. 3 receivers to the top of the field. Bring your 2 wide receivers inside on slant patterns. Get your tight end underneath, and ball just at his feet. Almost would have been a good play. Probably got about 5-10 yards on that play if he'd had the reception.
Whack opener for these two. We're even at 3. Earlier you saw TCU over Northwestern non-conference game. Most figure TCU and Rice are the favorites in the WAC this year. TCU and Fresno, I should say. Fresno giving UCLA all it wanted. 3rd and 10 at the 46. Blankenship. LeCron, the leaping grab as he reaches back and carries it to the 10-yard line. Andrew LeCron, a senior from Downers Grove, Illinois, in the Chicago suburbs, makes a sensational catch.
Good job this time by Josh Blankenship setting up the free safety. Here's Dan Dawson, who's in the middle of the field. Hasn't played free safety a lot. He's supposed to be helping right here. Gets over the top. Good job getting it to LeCron. You see Dawson coming in late. You know, he hasn't played there in a long time. You see, you know, Jason Abear's not in the game. Hurt. We talked about that earlier. And that free safety position is just something you have to settle in and get used to seeing the reads. The quarterback can look left and look right and come back and throw. And if you're not ready to break, it can be a big play.
Sets up 1st and 10 at the 10 for the Hurricane. 1st and goal. Completed inside the 5 to the 3-yard line, and Corey Brown takes it out of bounds there with the clock stopping at 4:17. Brown, 2 touchdowns this year. Thought he had a 3rd.
Just a little quick turn to the outside. Ball's put on timing and just trying to break a tackle. Good execution.
McMillan making the tackle for the Owls. 2nd and goal from the 3. Blankenship to Hart, and he rips into the end zone. Touchdown, Hurricane. Dante Hart gets his 2nd touchdown of the season, and the Hurricane fans that have made the trip from Oklahoma celebrate. Tulsa 9-3 lead.
Well, Schiller does a good job with the left offensive guard spot there, and Schaefer, the tackle, opening a hole for Hart to come through.
Ernest for the point after. Good snap, and the kick is up, and it is also good. And Tulsa takes the lead for the first time this afternoon with 4:13 remaining in the second quarter. 5 plays and 54 yards and 51 seconds. The big play to Leckrone, and then Hart to finish it.
Well, interesting here, Tulsa, their offense, they're having to go with a little bit of revamped offensive line. Jason Daniluk, their starter at left guard, broke his ankle this Wednesday, didn't even make the trip. A lot of a disappointment there. They moved Steve Schiller from his center position over to left guard and allowed Anthony Taylor to step up there and play the center spot. Good job that time by the offensive line. Wanted the protection, allowing Blankenship to get the big pass to Leckrone, and then obviously on the touchdown with Hart.
44 yards on that big pass play to Leckrone, and that set up the 1st and goal. And the scoring drive, 5 and 54 for 51 seconds. And the Hurricane takes a 10-3 lead. Tulsa 0-2 coming in. They lost the opener on the road to North Carolina 30-9. Came back last week. Sellout crowd at Skelly Stadium. Saw Oklahoma State come over and put it on Tulsa 36-26. Although the Hurricane was down 21-0 and closed within 2 at the half. And then they had a 4-point turnaround on a conversion attempt. And Oklahoma State scored before the half to make it 30-19. They want to avoid a similar bad finish to this first half here today, and the best way is to kick it out of the end zone, which they do here. It'll be 1st and 10 on the 20 for Rice.
That's a nice looking Rice fans.
It's a beautiful day out here because of the lack of humidity and a good breeze. Fans enjoying the action, if not the outcome right now for those Rice fans. I want to remind you, Cowboys Weekly every Sunday morning at 9:30. Drew Pearson will join me for all of that as we cover the Cowboys, and they get ready for their Monday nighter against the Washington Redskins. Going in 0-2. Talk about must win. They're certainly down early. Rice on the 1st and 10. Beck takes it for 3 to the 23-yard line. Odom makes the tackle for the Golden Hurricane.
You know, I think with the quarterback situation the way it is here at Rice with Corey Evans playing, and they've only got really one backup behind him, that's Ben Wolf. I don't think Ken Hatfield wants to do a lot of down-the-line, mid-line option with his quarterback. Go ahead and let his fullback get the yardage if he can. It's going to take the pounding off of Corey Evans, and Ken Hatfield's called a lot of plays with this offense, and he knows how to save his players, and he may be doing it today with Corey Evans.
2nd and 7 at the 23. Here's Evans. He keeps the football. Found a little crease and tumbled at the 30-yard line, but has a 1st down for the Owls. Rice with 2 timeouts remaining.
Not allowed to let him run. Afraid to let him run now. Look inside there. It's the lead option. You got White leading the blocking in front of him. Good job that time by Burgess. Coming up, put a pretty good pop on Evans.
Got a good block by Clint Crisp, the sophomore from Clute, Texas, number 68, that was leading the way and really maintained it with his man. 1st and 10 on the 30 now. Rice down 7. Evans now pitches it out. Griffin. Forward motion is going to be stopped at the 35-yard line. So we'll pick up a 5, and Scott made the play.
Sometimes these option quarterbacks have to be magicians. Watch the pitch here. Watch the lane that he pitches this through with 2 hands right between 2 defenders. He knows his tailback's going to be there. Griffin does a good job of receiving the ball and a little punishment as well.
It's interesting that Coach Burns told us that they practiced for the last week or so without anybody having a football for their defenders to learn to tackle their man and their responsibilities. 2nd and 5. The pitch here, and oh, thanks, Corey. That's probably what Vincent Hawkins is going. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, that's the assignment football that you talk about. And everyone did their job on the defensive side for the Hurricane that time. The defensive end does a nice job stretching things out. The quarterback has to pitch. He doesn't have anywhere to go, and sometimes that tailback's just the last guy there, and you just got to take it on the chin for the team. And Corey Evans is a smart quarterback. He's going to pitch it.
That might hurt my average. Hawkins, sophomore from here in Spring, Texas, in the Houston suburbs, went to Klein Oak High School.
Well, this is a strange situation for Ken Hatfield and Campy. 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. This is not the kind of situation they like to call plays in.
And Evans sets up, got time. Now it breaks down, and he's in trouble. sack on the play, but a flag is thrown as Drew McLaughlin got the sack on Evans, and you generally think there's usually a hold in this situation. We'll see if that's a call. With 1:28 to go before halftime, Tulsa players already signaling they're going to decline.
On the offense, penalty is declined. 4th down.
So now Rice kicks it away again with 1:28 to go, and Tulsa may get pretty good field position again, considering what happens here on the punt.
Keith Burns wants to save the clock and call timeout.
Tells you what he wants. He wants to score again. He talked to his punt unit. With 1:22 to go before the break. I want to remind you, stay with us at intermission. Coming up at halftime, Kevin will update you on this week in the WAC. Then we'll send you to Los Angeles and the College Football Saturday studio, where Kevin Frazier, Kellen Winslow, and Artie Gigantino have some strong opinions about the quarterback situation at the University of Texas. Doesn't everybody have a strong opinion about that?
Well, even at Tulsa, they've got a situation where they've got a senior quarterback who's backing up, who started last year, and Josh Blankenship came in a year ago and started 5 games. Michael Wall, kind of a similar situation where you had a starter returning and an injury and doesn't come back. Keith Burns decided to stay with Josh Blankenship. But I think that relationship has worked itself out over there. I think that Michael Wall understands his position, but that's probably one of the best situations in the league as far as a backup quarterback situation in the WAC. You've got a senior quarterback who started over 20 games for the Hurricane, ready and waiting. See him on the sideline with a headset on, and very capable quarterback in his own.
Wall, in fact, last year in the Tulsa-Rice game that we broadcast on Fox Sports Net, was the quarterback and then got hurt. Blankenship came on and got the call the last half of the season. 4th and 12. And they'll return it. Scholes. 50. Watch out. Scholes keeping his feet. Scholes is gone. 72 yards. Touchdown, Tulsa. Scholes turned on the afterburners. And Tulsa, yeah, they wanted to score. They didn't need the timeout for that, Gary.
That happened quick. They didn't need so much time. You know what to set this up, Bill, is it's a low line drive kick, and Scholes just sets up his blockers well, kicks back the middle of the field. Watch his last cut here to the left. Boom! The punter slides on his tail. Well, I tell you, he sees green grass, actually turf, all the way to the end zone.
Officially 71 yards on the punt return, and wow, what a turnaround we've seen. Tulsa 16 now, and the point after, and that is good, and the Hurricane makes it 17-3 on Donald Scholes' 71-yard punt return, and then the kick after, good by Chris Ernest. Take one more shot at this.
Well, right down the middle of the field, you see Travis Hale. Watch him now. He's going to watch this play the entire way. He sees Donald Scholes pick up the ball and set up his blockers. It's going to come right into your living room. Travis Hale, come into the picture. Let's make the play here, son. Zoop.
Bye.
Great camera work, guys.
Great run by Scholes as the Hurricane, with 1:05 to go, up 17-3.
You know, the last time a Hurricane came in here, did damage in Houston, was Hurricane Alicia, but the Hurricane doing a pretty good job today. 17-3 lead here as we approach the halftime intermission.
Now, Tulsa in the series has not won against Rice. They played 5 times previous to today, and Rice 4-0-1, including the 20-10 win last year. Well, Scholes has caught 3 for 73 yards. He's returned a pair of punts for 83 and the touchdown. And he showed a little bit of that escapability on that other return. He only got 12 yards, but slick customer. First and kick it off, and White in the end zone. He has not had a good afternoon on the return game.
That could have been disastrous if it had gotten right into the playing field. Instead of staying into the end zone, he smartly pulled it back and going to take the touchback.
It was the fumble on the punt by White that set up Tulsa's first score. They were down 3-0. They didn't get much. They got 16 yards. They got a field goal, though. That kind of turned the momentum in this game. And then the second score for Tulsa. The first touchdown was set up on McCrone's 44-yard reception. And then Scholes on the 71-yard punt return. First and 10 at the 20 for the Owls. And Evans keeps it.
Good job by Sean Farley stepping up at his linebacker spot. Little quarterback delay, little draw that time. Farley doesn't go back and run out of there. Does a good job stepping up as we see a timeout called by Tulsa.
Tulsa going for the kill. They're saying, all right, let's stop them here. Rice, certainly a team that doesn't throw the ball very well anyway, figuring if they're going to run it 3 times and we can hold them, we'll get good field position again.
You know, I think that might be just some of the personality of Keith Burns. When he took the job at Tulsa, from the day that he walked into the office and when he first met people on that campus, there was a kind of a breath of fresh air. Things were changing. And change is good, I think, for Tulsa right now, because when he came in there, everyone knew who the boss was, and that is Keith Burns. When he steps in front of a group of young men, and he certainly commands their attention, and Keith Burns is making his presence known on the field today. You know, with some of these situational calls, and calling a timeout here is telling his offense and his defense, hey, we want to score. We want to give ourselves the best opportunity to win. Maybe 17 points may not be enough to win this ball game.
Yeah, and Keith Burns, not an easy situation, replacing Dave Rader, who was so well liked and had done so many great things for the program, had been there 12 years. Burns trying to get it going now, and Tulsa so far has responded today. Evans on the 2nd and 7 with a pitch and run out of bounds. And that'll stop the clock as well as Hawkins, the ball carrier.
And bring up about a 3rd and 2, maybe 3rd and 3 short situation here. Still plenty of time if they were to stop them here to get the ball back.
.48 seconds remaining on the clock. 17-3 Hurricane. We had a scoreless first period, and then Rice got on the board with Crabtree's field goal, and then it's been all Tulsa. Ernest with a field goal, Hart with a run, and Scholes with a punt return. Watch out, Evans across midfield. He almost breaks one all the way. And now Rice will probably call the timeout as McCrory makes the tackle. 40 seconds on the clock. They stop it while they move the chains.
Good job that time by Evans. They win the corner here. What I mean by that is everyone is turned to the inside. Tight end and tackle on the near side do a good job, and Evans just sees the seam and turns, goes back to the inside, trying to get the big play and get open field tackle.
Evans pitches to Sadler on the first down, and he is stopped with 25 seconds, and at this point, let's see. Yeah, another timeout is called against charge to Rice.
This is what one of the difficult situations is for a Rice football team, because their offense is not designed for the big hit, for the big play, the offensive weapon to throw the ball down the field. They use that primarily, Bill. Those big plays come in play action situations. And here we are, 3rd down or 2nd down and long, and 23 seconds to go. You know, their offense is not set up to go 3 wides, 4 wides, and throw the ball down the field. Timing on the outside. You see David Lee and Ken Hatfield on the sideline talking to his group.
Last year, Rice came from behind to win the game. The game was played at Skelly Stadium in Tulsa, and the Hurricane came out in that game and took the lead on the opening drive. They looked like they were just going to mop up as the touchdown pass to Brown, I believe it was. Chad Richardson came back, though, to lead Rice, and they even hit on a 20-yard touchdown pass and took advantage of some turnovers and went on to win 20-10. Different story so far today, though.
Plus 350 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
Which they're not getting today. It's a little better, a little more stingy defense from Tulsa so far.
196 rushing for Rice. But they haven't had enough of what Evans just gave them there, the big plays. It's 2nd and 12. Evans going to throw it. Nearly intercepted. Miller deep on the play. Intended for Gavin Booth. And McLaughlin, the big hit to force that throw.
Well, that's one of the situations I'm talking about. You know, he's the only receiver out in the pattern. Number 81, Booth, at the bottom of your screen. It's just a play-action pass, and Corey Evans steps back. He's actually going to take a pretty good pop here as he throws the football. No, he doesn't like that.
Drew McLaughlin
But what it does, yeah, but what it does for the defense, Bill, is it allows them to, hey, let's just cover that one guy out there. We can put 2 or 3 players on him as they did there and knock it away and almost come up with an INT.
3rd and 12 from the 49, and Evans puts it up over the left side, and it is complete inside the 10-yard line with a flag thrown. Complete to Adrian Sadler. So Sadler, who dropped one right in his breadbasket earlier that could have been a touchdown, trying to redeem himself here. 7 seconds on the clock, but there's a flag.
On the defense, penalty is declined. First down.
That was much like the play from Michigan a week ago, Bill. A big play to Sadler on the outside. Corey Evans does a nice job. They're going to try to kill the clock here, I believe.
41 yards on the play. They have 1 timeout remaining. And Evans downs the football with 3 seconds to go. And Ken Hatfield's got a decision. You pop almost a certain 3-pointer, or do you go ahead and try to get the 6?
Well, I'd put the 3 points on the board myself.
Long game.
You know, that's right, exactly. They've got another half of football to play. They're going to be on the 8-yard line. I think I see Derek Crabtree walking out there. It'd be too early to go ahead and throw it all in there right now on one play and 8 yards to go.
And with 7 seconds,
you might take a shot.
7 seconds, there wasn't quite enough time on that particular play to try to throw it in the end zone or throw it away. You might get sacked, clock would run out or whatever. In this case, just by downing the ball, you pretty well need to take the 3 here. The 25-yard field goal for Crabtree attempt, and his earlier one was from 27. And the kick is up and good. So Rice comes back and picks up 3. And that ends the first half. 17-6 is our score as the Owls, a little bit of a positive to end the first half. They scored first, 9:16 to go in the half, and then it was all Tulsa, and then it ends up with Crabtree hitting the field goal to make it 17-6. And let's go down to Kevin Eschenfeld.
Coach, here with Coach Ken Hatfield. Coach, how big is that drive there at the end of the first half?
It's big. I mean, they could have made us punt into the wind again, you know, and they just ran a punt back on us, which is the difference in the game. The other is we got down there and got stopped on the spot on 4th down. We didn't make it. We need to make that. So, and then we let them out of the hole twice. They've done a good job executing when they had to. We had them backed up. We got to do a better job executing.
All right, Coach, you're running the ball right now. You're getting pressure on the quarterback. What adjustments in the second half?
Well, we got to stop the big pass. I mean, we've stopped the running game. We've stopped the short stuff, but they've always come up with a big 20 or 30-yard play, and we just can't live with that. And we got to do better there. And offensively, we got to score points. We're moving the ball, but it isn't doing good. We got to finish and score some points.
Coach Hatfield, thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Hatfield with us here. All right, let's head back upstairs to Bill Land. Bill.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll take a brief break. Stay with us on college football Saturday. The WAC opener, Tulsa, with a 17-6 halftime lead over the Rice Owls. We'll have halftime activities for you. More on that Texas quarterback situation as well on Fox Sports Net.
Golden Hurricane leading at 17-6 here in Houston, Texas at Rice Stadium on a sunny, warm Saturday afternoon. Kevin Eschenfelder will welcome you back. There's one game already in the books in the Western Athletic Conference. TCU running their record to 2-0. They knock off Nevada last week and beat Northwestern this week. And, well, with that, LaDainian Tomlinson, another big game today. So let's take a look back at last week's top performances in the Western Athletic Conference. The Spartans of San Jose State came up big when it counted to upset Stanford for the 3rd straight year, and they rode the strong legs of Deontay Whitaker to the finish. Whitaker earned WAC Offensive Player of the Week by shredding the Cardinal defense for a career-high 254 yards on 21 carries. He set school records by averaging 12 yards per carry and had 4 rushes of at least 40 yards. LaDainian Tomlinson picked up where he left off in 1999. After leading the nation in rushing last season, Tomlinson ran for 176 yards and 3 touchdowns, while the Horned Frog defense came up with 15 sacks in TCU's 41-10 win over Nevada. Fresno State Bulldogs gave UCLA all it wanted at the Rose Bowl on Saturday, and junior wideout Charles Smith was a big secret to Fresno's success. Smith got loose to make 5 big catches for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Dogs' 3-point loss to the Bruins.
And finally, Tulsa's Joel Blankenship threw for a career-high 373 yards in the Golden Hurricanes' loss to Oklahoma State. The sophomore signal caller went 28 for 49, including 2 touchdown tosses.
All right, here in Houston, it is 17-6. We've got more college football talk coming up as we'll send you to our college football studios in Los Angeles. It's all coming up next.
Welcome back to Rice Stadium in Houston, Texas. WAC football, the conference opener, and Tulsa with a halftime lead of 17-6. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Land along with Gary Reasons. An interesting first half where all the scoring was in the second quarter, Gary, and Rice looked like they at least had control of the game, and then Tulsa really came on.
Well, they were running the ball very well. Rice was early in the ball game. Tulsa kind of slow to get started, but they started throwing the ball well, and Donald Scholes had a big return at the end of the second half, so end of the first half, to make it more of a wide open game, and they're on top of them right now.
No question that Scholes' play was the play of the half as he goes 71 yards, and I don't know if anyone even touched him.
I don't think they did. He split the coverage here. Everything was very well set up for him, and Travis Hale has a chance here, but just can't make the play, the punter. So Scholes streaks in for a 71-yard touchdown and puts the Hurricane up pretty commanding right now in the football game.
Yeah, 17-3 at that point, but Rice then comes back, gets a field goal as time expires from Crabtree to make it 17-6 at the half. That's where we stand right now. Let's go down now to Kevin Eschenfelder. He's got Coach Burns from Tulsa.
Well, actually, Coach, he just went back in. He went back into his huddle, and sorry for the miscommunication, Bill Land. I'll send it back upstairs to you, but I will have him momentarily. As a matter of fact, he's busy. He's with us right now. Coach, you got to be happy with the way your ball club executed there in the first half. You come on strong in the second quarter.
I'm pleased with the job their defense has done up until the late ball they hit down the boundary on us. We defended the option pretty well. Offensively, we've made some big plays, but we haven't sustained anything as far as the drive goes. We put some points on the board, but we haven't played consistently. Our kicking game is the difference in the game right now. We've got to continue that momentum we've started, and let's play hard.
Change anything in the second half?
Change anything? Change from not winning to learning how to win.
All right, Coach. Good luck in the second half. All right, 17-6, the count here at halftime. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more from Rice Stadium in Houston in a moment.
Tulsa with a 17-6 lead, and we'll kick it off as Ernest, who has a couple of field goals here today, well, has the 32-yarder. Crabtree has the 2, of course, for Rice. He'll kick it off. Weber and Hawkins are deep, and White in the end zone will touch it there and bring it out on the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the first half stats here, Gary. Everything about what we would expect except for the little check mark on return yards.
Well, look at the Rice rushing yardage and the passing yardage for Tulsa. Kind of negating each other, but the big return yardage there with Scholes with the big punt return, obviously, late in the second quarter. The big factor in this ball game. Look at the time of possession, though. Rice, 17 minutes to 12 for Tulsa. That's pretty much a Ken Hatfield football game.
But Coach Hatfield, I thought, was right on. He made the comment about Blankenship 7-17, but he's completed a 52-yarder and a 44-yarder. And those big plays have hurt him. They pretty well contained them, except for the big ones. And Rice starts it off here offensively after ending the half with a field goal.
Interesting, Bill, in the first half, Rice rushing the football. They rushed 10 times to the left side, 9 times to the right side, and 12 times up the middle, utilizing the fullback as we see a Hurricane on the ground.
Jeff Hewitt, the injured player. Hewitt, senior from Lake Arrowhead, California.
I think he's had a pretty good ball game so far for Rice, especially as the fullback, the young freshman Robbie Beck. He's done a nice job of getting some tough yardage inside. And I'm not sure they've had an answer for him inside for Tulsa on defense.
Yeah, I've been real impressed with his play. As Keith Burns comes out to check out his senior lineman, we'll take a brief timeout. We'll be back. Tulsa with a 17-6 lead over Rice on Fox Sports Net. Hewitt being helped off the field, Jeff Hewitt, and shoulder area being attended to, but was down until just a moment ago, and we'll try to get an update status for you as soon as possible. And that is certainly one of the areas, Gary, you're talking earlier about protecting your quarterback. Well, for any of the teams, injuries become so critical as the season moves on, and particularly teams like Tulsa and Rice that may be a notch below the true contenders in the WAC, but hey, this is the first game, and But if you keep guys healthy over the course of the season, many times you can add another win or two.
Well, you know, these teams, a lot of them don't have the quality depth, and so the teams that are stay healthy the longer part of the season or throughout the entire season have a better chance to win. Their number ones are all usually pretty good, but when you get to the seconds and thirds, sometimes the quality of players drops off a little bit.
Sadler takes it out to the 34-yard line. And that'll move the change for Rice as Harold Burgess made the tackle.
Well, Harold had 8 tackles in the first half. We're kind of keeping an eye on him, the free safety. He's going to have to make a lot of plays against this Rice offense, and coming up and making another stop there. And he's the fill guy, the slot guy. When they run that option, he has to run sideline to sideline to make plays, and Corey Evans runs this option attack here, the spread option for Kent Hatfield very well.
First and 10 from the 33, and Rice motors again. Close to the first down as Tyler may have gotten it. Looks like 10 on one block. Burgess again making the tackle. And who knows how important that field goal at the end of the half was to Rice, because they're sitting in a situation where Tulsa's calling timeouts, trying to get it back to try to get one more, up 2 touchdowns. Lo and behold, they get the big play and the 3. They receive to start the second half, and now they got a little momentum going. 10 from the 43, and ball carrier Sadler is stopped at the 46-yard line. Pick up a 3. Sam Rayburn there for the Hurricane.
46-yard line.
This is a Rice offense trying to get on track, run the football inside between the tackles, little pitch outside, get something going, try to get a consistent running attack established here early in the second half, and, you know, take control of this football game and put some more points on the board.
Evans pitches to Hawkins. Hawkins running out of room, scampers out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Sean Farley makes the play, senior out of Tulsa Union High School. Came in leading them in tackles with 19 on the year prior to this game.
It's good assignment football there. The fullback was taken away inside, the quarterback was taken away, make him pitch, and then run the alley, run to the outside, and Farley does a nice job of, you know, stopping him for a small game.
Farley, a second-team all-conference pick in the WAC last year. 3rd and 6 of the 47. This is the WAC opener for these two clubs. Rice losing to Michigan after beating Houston in the opener. Tulsa losing to North Carolina and Oklahoma State. The pitch again, and Sadler stopped at the 48-yard line, where Scott and Miller closed on him.
Good job of getting off the block that time by Scott. He's got the wide receiver out there blocking on him. He takes him on and then sees the run coming at him, does a nice job of getting off and making the tackle along with Miller. Good job and good series that time by Tulsa on defense.
Brings up a 4th down and 4 from the 49. So about the time you think Rice has got it going, Tulsa defense has stiffened. And 2 men back for the Hurricane. Scholes and also Scott, as Hale kicks it away. Scholes. Whoa! No 71 yards this time, no 71 inches, as Scholes was rocked.
I think he felt the momentum of the other return. That's why he caught that ball. The coverage was excellent that time by Rice. You see here, just right as he catches the football, a couple of owls.
Kind of in that tough situation, Gary. Do you call fair catch, get out of the way, hope it goes in the end zone, or try to make something happen? Blankenship brings on the Golden Hurricane. 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Ready for an Oberman Fix. Sunday Night Sports just got a whole lot better as the Keith Olbermann Evening News airs tomorrow at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports Net each Sunday night. Olbermann provides his unique perspective as well as all the highlights of the sports world. Rice defense responds here as Jake Jackson leads them, and the 3rd sack of Blankenship on the day, a loss of 1. It'll be 2nd and 11.
That's just a good speed rush that time by Jake Jackson on the left side of the defensive line. It's a nice job coming around the offensive tackle, keeping his inside shoulder low and just scraping around and grabbing a hold of Blankenship. Nice negative play.
Clock moving, 11:53 in the 3rd quarter. See Blankenship's effort so far today. First possession, second half for the sophomore quarterback. The quick hitter almost turns into a quick 6 for Rice and Joe Bob Thompson.
Joe Bob had that one in his mitts, and boy, he had a smooth sailing track there to the end zone. Linebackers aren't supposed to catch those footballs, though. Yeah.
Well, he's thinking, how did I miss this?
Well, Blankenship just trying to throw this quick slant, and Joe Bob does a nice job of extending to his zone coverage and just gets right in front of the throw.
Thompson's thinking, like you were mentioning a game we were doing a couple of weeks ago, hey, get my hands up, thinking the ball's going to be over him, but maybe he can shield the receiver. Instead, it was right to him.
Exactly.
3rd and 11. Blankenship. Good pressure put on him, misfiring, trying to get Scholes, and the Rice defense got a feeling had a pretty good talking to at halftime.
Well, that's a pretty good job that time of rushing the quarterback first by Jackson on the first play of the series, and now that time made Blankenship step out of the pocket a little bit, throw off timing. Obviously was incomplete. Good job and good series by the Owls, and now a chance to turn around with perhaps even better field position on the punt return.
4th and 11, and kicking out of the end zone will be Casey Lipscomb. He gets off a good kick. White has it sail over his head, and Tulsa will get an unbelievable bounce. Look at this, and had they not, that ball bounced up and hit him, they might have been able to down it on the 1-yard line.
I think he kind of lost where he was, but nonetheless, a great play by Tulsa.
79 yards on the punt. It's 17-6 Tulsa. Rice backed up. 17-6 Tulsa over Rice. Kevin Eschenfelder with more on the injury to Jeff Hewitt for Tulsa.
Well, it was definitely a dislocated shoulder that was relocated by trainer Dave Polanski. Believe me, guys, I could have gone all day without seeing that. Needless to say, he is done for the day as they are icing it down.
Didn't like the up-close and personal look.
One thing I like is Keith Burns going over and seeing Jeff Hewitt after that happened to him and acknowledging that he is a loss and acknowledge the senior on that defense. And head coaches get attached to these players. And that's one thing that Keith Burns is trying to do, get attached to this Tulsa club. It's new to him, and everything is new. And you lose a guy like Keith Burns up front, who's a big part of that defensive front, makes it tough for him.
Coach Burns encouraging the troops here and saying before this is a must-win for Tulsa, and he's looked at it as this team he thinks is capable of going to a bowl game. He told people, make your reservations for December 20th. We're going to go to Mobile. Well, it starts right here. You're going to have to win in the WAC to get that opportunity. 2nd down and 7, ball at the 12. Evans pitching it off to Hawkins. Hawkins knocked out of bounds at the 17. Miller and McQuarrie there.
You know, Bill, people talk about the option offense and the offensive line here for the Rice Owls. Kind of a unique bunch. They're not the biggest guys out there. They're all about 6'2", 6'3", about 270, 275, that range. And what they are is they're very athletic. They're all very smart. Imagine having to defend this group. These offensive linemen have to be very smart in adapting to how defenses play them and pick up their blocking assignments.
3rd and 1. Let's see what they come up with here. Loose football. Tulsa's got it. The fumble and the Hurricane will take over inside the Rice 20.
Well, Jamie Tyler and Corey Evans must have gotten a little bit of a miscommunication there. As you'll see, Tyler just runs right into the back of Corey Evans. Tyler goes to the right side, and Corey Evans opens to the left. Sean Farley, the recipient there. You see the collision and in the pile. Farley scrambles and the fumble recovery.
And Tulsa will now, you see Ken Hatfield really upset about the poor execution. And now Tulsa 1st and 10 from the 17. No scoring so far in the 3rd, but Tulsa, great opportunity. Round to the right side, Scholes to the left, and right up the middle, Hart. Dante Hart, who scored a touchdown earlier today. It's a good sprint there down to the 12-yard line.
Dante Hart goes right behind the left guard, Steve Schiller. Take a look there. Good block to the outside. Good positive yardage down in the red area. Brings up a 2nd and short. A lot of chances here to call different plays now with 2nd and short. You toss it into the end zone. Almost a toss-away play here. So Blankenship has some options.
Hart, 7 carries, 22 yards. And on this 2nd and 4th, the 11, he is hit hard around the 9 as Shell made the tackle. And it'll be 3rd and 3. They're going to mark it at the 10-yard line. Boy, you know, Tulsa earlier on a fumble recovery, they had to settle for a field goal. And at some point, you got to get 6s, not 3s, when you get the ball in this kind of position. Big play here with 8:47 and counting in the 3rd. 3rd and 3 at the 10. And Hart is tugged down short of the first down. Or so it would appear. They're on the 8-yard line.
Really kind of surprised that they're going so conservative here on the ground, running twice now with 3rd and short, 2nd and short, and 3rd and short. Now it's going to bring up a measuring situation.
So they bring out the chains. One, I'm going to say, see how far they've got to get here, and toe with the shadows, but not much. That can be a tough put. And they're going to bring on the kicking group as Blankenship and crew go off. And they'll line up at the 15 for a 25-yarder for Chris Ernest. Ernest, a 32-yarder, and 4 of 4 on the year now. Last year, he was just 3 of 9. He really had a good offseason, really worked on improving strength and accuracy. Nothing fancy here. He kicks it through, and Tulsa takes advantage of the turnover to get the first 3 in the second half. 20-6 Hurricane as Keith Burns is a congratulations to his special teams crew. Lipscomb, the punter, is actually the holder on the kick team.
But when you play a controlled offense like the Rice Owls do, Bill, you don't want to do anything like a turnover to give yourself a long football game.
Next Saturday on College Football Saturday, the pregame show brought to you by Rivals.com gets it all going, and then football action with a triple header. UCLA and Oregon, Houston and Texas, and then Cal to meet Fresno State right here on Fox Sports Net next Saturday.
Back on my point about the turnover, what happens with a controlled offense? When you make mistakes, this offense is not designed to go down the field in 2 to 3 plays. It's a controlled offense. It takes 10 to 15 plays to get a good drive going, and Ken Hatfield knows that those kind of things really can hurt a football team. And when his quarterback turns out the wrong way or the running back takes the wrong path, those are mistakes that you can't afford to make.
So Ernest with the field goal, and now the kickoff. He's had touchbacks every other time. This time White will bring it out and makes it a good decision, if you will. We see where he stepped out of bounds, about the 25 or 26 yard, might be the 25-yard line, where Rice will take over.
Bill Lamb, what you're looking at is the Williams Cup Waterford Crystal, and it's only 2 years old, but Williams, a company that is based in both Tulsa and here in Houston, so they thought they'd get together. The winner of the football game gets this trophy. Of course, it's lived in Houston for the last 2 years, but the way things are going right now, it'd be maybe relocating north to Tulsa. One other thing about Williams, they are also the sponsor of the basketball tournament, postseason basketball tournament, you can see here on Fox Sports Net. Guys, back upstairs.
Tulsa didn't know there was a trophy.
They just want to win, period.
Say, oh, we're going to get a trophy if we win this thing too, huh? Great. Rice having won the earlier meetings or tied in the only other of the 5.
Keith Burns is drinking quite a bit today. He might want that cup. You put a little Gatorade in it.
Let's go.
2nd and 3 at the 32 now for Rice. Down 20-6 with 7:37 to go in the 3rd. Griffin sheds a tackler, another one. Spins and gets to the 37-yard line.
Good job that time of just getting the extra yardage and getting the first down. The start of this ball game, it was really nice on the football field. As you see the play here, jumping out to the outside, breaking tackles. Excellent job that time. Well, Bill, it's been the mid-80s, but on the AstroTurf, it's a lot hotter. I imagine Kevin Eschenfelder feels that heat down there, and that's why we see Keith Burns. He's directly in the sun, drinking a lot of water and fluids.
Yeah, it's at that point where if you're in the shade, the flag's thrown here to stop this play. Oh, it's wonderful right now, and we have been for the entire game.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
I'm sure Kevin Eschenfelder likes to drink a lot of water, and I see him popping the top down there. Good job, Kevin.
First and 15 on the penalty assessment. Ken Hatfield. You know, earlier Keith Burns mentioned about coming here with Fred Goldsmith. Goldsmith's the guy that kind of got Rice back in good graces college football-wise instead of a laughingstock, and then Ken Hatfield just taking it another step further. Ken, in his 7th year, 32-35-1, won a share of the Southwest Conference title, and also here's a lookout pass to Connor, and it's caught loose and recovered by Tulsa. Okoronkwo got hit hard after the reception, and Chris Miller with the hit, and I believe McCory comes up with the loose ball.
Well, this is a wide receiver screen that all teams in college football run, and Okoronkwo, you're going to see Miller come up and pop him right there. Good job of putting your hat right on the football. Comes out, and Tulsa comes up with a big recovery. Another turnover here early in the second half in the third quarter, giving the Hurricane a chance to get back on the field with their offense.
Strong safety, Keithan McCory, sophomore from Oklahoma City out of Westmore High School. He comes up with a fumble recovery, and Tulsa first and 10 at the 45. Blankenship gonna air it out. Incomplete, and a flag is thrown everywhere as McMillan all over the Tulsa receiver on the play, and that was Scholes again.
Scholes has deceptive speed. He's actually outrunning the defenders for Rice, getting behind him pretty easily. He's actually having to hold up a little bit. The ball is a little bit short.
Yeah, it's 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, and an automatic first down.
Scholes has been very impressive today.
You see, we take a look here at the end of the play. Little contact here. You can see the left arm come in a little bit too soon, pulls the Scholes arms down. Good call by the official.
Scholes, an all-conference player at Fort Scott Community College, and then to Tulsa last year, we had 338 yards receiving, came in 228 and is tagging them on here today. And the penalty, now the pass to the tight end, Keith Carey, and Tulsa knocking on the door again at the 25-yard line. Greg Gatlin, sophomore from here in Houston, made the tackle.
Another quick little boot pass, drop it out to the flat to the short tight end. They have one little short and one deep coming around. Good execution that time. It's a quick hitter for 5 yards.
Blankenship 7 of 19, make it 8 of 20 on that completion for 185 yards. 2nd and 5 at the 25 for Tulsa. 6:05 to go in the third. Incomplete, intended for Scholes, and another big series for the Rice defense, Gary, that they're down 14. You give up another touchdown here and clock at 5:50. That's a big comeback for a team that runs the ball as like they do.
It certainly would be. I mean, they put them in a deficit where their offense would not be running smoothly. If they have a chance here at least to hold them to a field goal attempt, be saying a lot for the Rice defense.
You know, you guys are talking about Donald Scholes and the attitude he brings to this team. Keith Burns last week brought Scholes to the head of the class after the Oklahoma State game. His nose was bleeding from the bridge. His eye was swollen shut. And he said, fellas, look at this man. The game he had, this is the kind of guy we can win with, guys.
Tulsa going to the near end zone on a 3rd and 5. And Corey Brown, the intended receiver this time.
Well, Kevin, just to echo on what you're talking about, Keith Burns last night in their team meeting prior to the ball game coming in here, he told me what he's going to do with his ball club, and he said he had a bag of rings, championship rings, about 40 or so from different conferences, from his coaching staff, from other people that he knew, and he was just going to display them on a table, let all of his team see these rings and let them know what they're actually playing for, which is the conference championship. You know, that's the attitude that Keith Burns wants to instill in his players of winning and doing what it takes to win.
42-yard field goal attempt here. Chris Ernest, and he's got it again. So Tulsa taking advantage of the turnovers and getting 3 again. The Hurricane now up 23-6 with 5:43 to go in the third quarter. You're looking at Chris Miller, who last year had 14 tackles in the Rice game, a loss. Well, today he just came up with a big hit that caused the fumble that led to a third field goal for Tulsa's Chris Ernst, all that have come after fumble recoveries. And the Hurricane not getting a 6 and really not moving the ball that well, but getting something every time. And your defense, you really got to tip your cap. They are making plays and creating turnovers.
1 first down and 6 points here in the second half for the Hurricane. That's just productivity. You give them a chance, good field position, make some points.
And the kickoff again. White going to try to make it happen. 20. Carey and crew bring him back to the floor at the 25. So the Owls, we got a Tulsa player down as well. The Chicken, part of the halftime show, which, by the way, was, at least PG-13, if not R-rated, by the Marching Owl Band. But you're ever in the area, and they go on the road, too, if you hear that the mob is around, believe me, it's worth the price of admission, no matter how good the game ever is.
And it's Siegfried on the turf there for Tulsa.
Tulsa earlier losing Hewitt to the dislocated shoulder. There is the MOB, the Marching Owl Band, the mob.
Conjuring something else up, I'm sure. What is that little get up right there? What do you call that thing?
Well, he's been sitting in the sun a while.
Yeah.
Crazy things happen. Meanwhile, Pharrell Siegfried, the free safety sophomore from Tulsa, special teamer, is down, and we sure hope this is not serious.
A lot of times, Bill, games come down to special teams and turnovers, and there's no difference in this football game today. We see the turnovers and the points resulting for Tulsa, and obviously the punt return by Scholes. Those are the key factors in this ball game, and coaches will tell you they'll live and die by those types of situations, and certainly very evident today as we see him get up off the turf.
Siegfried gets a good hand here as he is helped off. And hopefully he'll be back for the Hurricane with 5:30 remaining. And there is Hewitt. And Tulsa saying, well, I guess we'll go find out about our depth, whether it's special teams or the defensive line.
I think Rice has to be a little more aggressive now, try to move the ball down the field, perhaps a play-action passing game or something to open this game up a little bit.
Vanilla keep it on the ground, and Beck with the carry. And even though we're in the third period, Rice is getting to that point, Gary, that if they're going to continue to run, then they're going to have to maybe speed up the plays a little bit to give them a few more opportunities. Hawkins.
With their offense, the clock can be foe or friend, depending upon which side of the scoreboard you're on. And at this point, it's not in their favor because, you know, it takes a long time to run the football consistently 4 and 5 yards down the field against the defense. And, you know, it's actually in the defense's favor at that point if they can make one play or a series to stop them. It's hard to keep a drive sustained, and Tulsa's defense has done a pretty good job today.
Miller made the tackle there, but a 1st and 10 for Rice at the 37. And the handoff right up the middle, and Tulsa smelling it as Sadler is stopped. Virtually no gain.
Good penetration that time up front by the defensive line. With Hewitt out of there, they got Sam Rayburn, a right defensive tackle in there, 96, and Damon Lee and Lee Vick. A little depth for Tulsa on defense, and Damon Robinson as well.
Kind of interesting. The two teams are averaging. Tulsa's averaging 5.2 yards per play. Rice 5.3. Rice has had 17 more plays, yet trails by 17. And Tulsa again, their answer after a couple of yards on the pickup. And it'll be 3rd and long. And I don't know how many times we said 3rd and long. That has been the key, that Rice is not getting the 2nd and 4
Exactly.
in those types of situations.
Well, that's what Jeff McInerney, the defense coordinator from Tulsa, told me. He said that, you know, those types of situations is what they have to create in this ball game, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, because he knows they've had a lot of background with this offense, being on the same staffs over the years, and they know what is difficult for an offense to run and operate in these 3rd and long situations. This offense from Rice is just not designed to pick up these types of plays.
3rd and 8 from the 39. Evans sets up, in trouble, escapes one man. Farley's after him, and he won't get away from him, but he does get rid of the football. But Evans, helped up by his assailant, as Farley says, why'd you dump that football? I had a sack on this deal.
Well, he's trying to go out here to one of his wide receivers, Gavin Booth, number 81, the wide receiver, doing a good job here of coverage on him, and he's open, but he just can't find him. He's trying to streak across the field and catch the quarterback's eye, but you know, when you're in harm's way back there, as Evans is, you see the pressure that he's going under. It's tough to find that open receiver sometimes, and you got big Farley coming after you and just trying to get rid of the football.
Brings on the punter, Travis Hale. 4th and 8. He stands on his own 25. Scholes fumbled it, then picked it up. Ball got on him in a hurry with the bounce, and Scholes is stopped at the 19-yard line. 42 yards on the kick.
And a lucky bounce that time for Scholes to come back up to him. Otherwise, Rice was closing down. They'd like to have had a big turnover there in the other end of the field. I mean, the field position has not been very good for Rice. I mean, they have started everything in their end of the field. Nothing was really big plays as far as turnovers or field position with the punting game. They've had to go the long field all day long, and it hasn't been very friendly to them.
2:57 to go in the 3rd. The Hurricane 1st and 10 from its own 19. And a flag is thrown as Richardson on the carry for Tulsa. Brown in there on the stop, and maybe a hold. We'll wait and see.
All right, little injury update on the Tulsa sideline. Terrell Siegfried, it looks like he is done for the day as they're putting ice and an ace bandage on his knee. It's a sprained MCL on the right knee. Doesn't look like he will be back today, guys.
Thank you, Kevin, and not good news for the Hurricane.
Holding on the offense, half the distance, repeat, 1st down.
And neither is that. Now, Tulsa, you made a good point there, Gary. The turnover, Rice hasn't gotten the big play for the turnover situation or a kick return or whatever. They've got them backed up here. They get a decent field position out of this. Even if they don't get a turnover, they're going to get the ball at the 45 or the 50-yard line.
Well, now's when you play good opportunity defense. Create one of those situations, get some momentum going back for your team, and that's not the way to do it. Let them have 10 yards inside.
1st and 19, and Richardson on the carry. So Richardson scoots from the 10 to near the 21-yard line.
Got a penalty, though. We're going to have an offsides. And back and forth here on the penalties.
Keith Burns, who, after he was here at Rice, he went to Southern Cal for 5 years and then to Arkansas under Houston Nutt for 2 years before coming to Tulsa.
Trying to sort it out here. Maybe the right defensive tackle jumped a little bit early there. Going to take the result of the play, which is a plus 11 or 12 instead of bringing up 2nd and 15. Excuse me, 1st and 15.
So 2nd and 9. The ball marked on the 21-yard line. Tulsa with 19 fewer plays, but the lead, and coming off the left side, and Hurricane may be eating a little time here as well, even though we're at the 3rd period. But and again, remember, this is a team that, even though they haven't done it today, they're trying to desperately improve their rushing game, because they know, for example, this afternoon Tulsa's thrown for 185 yards and run it for just 49. That coming in here in their first 2 games, Tulsa had only been averaging 40 yards a game on the ground, 334 total offense, so getting 293 of that through the air. And you've just got to have a little bit more balance in that. 3rd and 5 at the 24. Hart. Nothing doing there, and Rice is there to stuff the play.
Good job up front. The defensive line stiffens. Jared Irwin on the right side over there doing a pretty good job of holding his own. The Rice Owls, the linebackers flow well and stop him. So Rice is going to get the ball back, Bill. Here at the end of the 3rd quarter. Chance to get back in this game. Maybe make a big play here in a special teams in a return game. Remember the big punt early in the ball game where one went over the returner's head and bounced almost down to the 5 or 6 yard line.
Lipscomb.
He's way deep now. He's about 60 yards down there.
Yeah, that's 71-yarder. Lipscomb's averaging 52 yards a kick. Fair catch as White's going to get away from it. And this time the bounce a little more Rice friendly at the 32-yard line. And that's where the Owls will take over. 42-yard kick, though, for Tulsa. And the Owls will come out with 25 seconds to work here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, if you're Ken Hatfield, what do you do now? You're down 23-6. You got 15 minutes and 25 seconds to get something going. You're going to have to score how many times? 3 times to get back in this ball game. Need touchdowns. So he's got to make up the decision how long it's going to take him to drive down the field to get those scores. Try to score quickly or just grind it out.
1st and 10, and Evans to Griffin. And it's ruled an incompletion. Thought that might be a lateral.
Very close, right down the line of scrimmage. Referee, though, the line judge is right there on the play to rule it as an incompletion.
You know, Evans is actually, I mean, all his throws haven't been great, but he's had some balls dropped today, Gary, that certainly have, and that doesn't build your confidence either, even though you know you've done all right. Evans today is just 2 of 11 for 53 yards. But Sadler dropped one that could have been a touchdown earlier, and there's been a couple of others that are very catchable.
Yeah, that was a pretty pass to Sadler. Hit him right in the hands, right in the chest, and just dropped it early in the ball game.
Booth has missed 1 or 2. 2nd and 10. Evans again. And this one is nearly intercepted by Scott. They had double coverage that time on Gilbert Okoronkwo, and it is now 3rd and long, and there's the problem. If you're thinking at home, well, yeah, why don't they open it up and go ahead and put it up a little bit here? Well, you don't get either one of those. Now they know what you're doing.
Well, you send out one receiver, and that's what the problem is. It's play action all the way here, and drops back. It's a 1 receiver route. So you talk about double coverage. If you're the defensive coordinator, you're going to go ahead and design this to have 2 guys on him all the time, and had 1 guy underneath, 1 guy on top. And although Okoronkwo's a good tall receiver, it's just tough for that quarterback to lay it in there.
Scott probably should have had that one for Tulsa. Here's 3rd and 10. A man in motion, looking to throw again and in trouble. Evans scampering, and oh, he met a truck. At the 30-yard line, Evans got rocked by Farley. Sean is really picking up his play.
Well, he was running from Brad Hawkins and ran into Farley, so good job that time by Tulsa rushing in there. And a little bit of a pass rush sandwich here for him.
Stay with us. 4th and 12 coming up. They'll be kicking as the 3rd quarter ends. Welcome back. 23-6 Tulsa over Rice as we move to the 4th quarter. You're watching it on Fox Sports Net. Phil Land, Gary Reasons, Kevin Eschenfelder with you here at Rice Stadium, and Rice to kick it away with the wind as Hale and Scholes will stay away from this one. It takes a Rice bounce. Walk right down the line with it, and Tulsa will have it from its own 16-yard line.
Well, it's kind of ironic. We started this ball game knowing that Tulsa likes to throw the football, obviously coming in here with some good credentials on that, and Rice obviously wanted to run the football. Now with the score 23-6 in favor of the Hurricane, the roles are reversed. And so Tulsa really wants to run the football and grind the clock out, where the clock is not the friend now of Rice, and they want to throw the ball.
54 yards in the punt. Coming up next on Fox Sports Net, number 22, Michigan State of the Big Ten heads to Columbia, where the Missouri Tigers are waiting. That'll be followed by Texas to battle Stanford, the number 5 Longhorns. And it's all part of a full day of college football Saturday on Fox Sports Net. 1st and 10 here on the 16 for Blankenship. Josh got good protection. And a Great defensive play intended for Corey Brown. Hanging all over him, but not with a penalty, is Dawson.
We haven't called Dan Dawson's name a lot today, but Dan is playing back to the free safety spot. See him coming to the left side of your screen. He's going to break up on the pass here. Watch his left hand come around for the tackle, the right hand for the block. Good job, good execution.
Dawson, on some publications, all-conference first-teamer last year. Blankenship is just 1 of 6 this half for 5 yards as we start the fourth quarter, 2nd and 10.
There you go.
Hands it off, and Hart fumble the football. Rice has got it. Hart hawks it up. The Owls jump on it, and maybe this is the break that Rice needed to get a little momentum. And coming up with the football for the Owls is Rashard Pittman. And Shell is the one that made the hit.
We'll take a look here. Here comes Shell right in from his cornerback spot. Does a nice job of coming in there. Puts it right on the football, and Pittman picks up the fumble. Now the Owls have good field position. This is the first turnover of the ballgame that they've had capitalized on with good field position. A chance to put some points on the board.
Yeah, certainly the best opportunity. And Rice says, well, now we'll see what it feels like. Tulsa's had so many chances. 1st and 10 at the 19. The game could turn so quickly. Chris Odom making the tackle here on Sadler.
No surprise there. A little off-tackle play. They want to get the ball in Sadler's hands. We talked about that. He's got great speed. They want to get him out there in the passing game as well. He did drop the big pass early in the ball game, but you know that he was a cornerback a year ago. We talked about that, coming back and playing on the offensive side of the ball.
And Wolf, the new quarterback on this series, the senior, and Wolf pitches the football at the last moment, but Tulsa did a good job of stringing it out, and Hawkins had nowhere to go. Wolf, the senior quarterback from Center, Texas. There's a good look at Ben, 6 foot 195. He threw the 68-yard touchdown pass against Michigan.
Well, he came in there last week and played. He's a seasoned quarterback, had a chance to play, got the Rice Owls out of a few spots over time playing at quarterback.
And some running back as well, special teamer, and guy that just a really good team player that does a lot of different things pretty well, according to Coach Hatfield.
He's got a false start in the backfield.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty remains, 3rd down.
I guess that's the other problem, though, that you have with your team when you switch quarterbacks,
Little
different
timing.
cadence, and
Yeah.
this deep into the game. And Rice, well, really got to be thinking that they got to get 6 out of this.
Hello.
Interesting, Ken Hatfield decided to make the change from Corey Evans to Ben Wolf. Maybe he can spark this team, give him a chance to
What are you
get
doing
him going,
today?
get something into the end zone.
And Wolf, 2 of 4 in the passing game for 74 yards, coming in 3rd and 11 at the 20. Wolf going to keep it. And he is brought down near the 16-yard line.
And just the blocking is not there for the quarterback on the quarterback draw today. Evans just ran it a couple of times earlier, and that's the same play. They allowed Ben Wolf to run it here. See Derek Crabtree come out, the field goal kicker.
Hawkins making the tackle that time, and Crabtree will set up here for a 33-yarder. Crabtree earlier today hit a 27 and a 25. This from 33 yards out. And it is long enough, and it is good. So Rice gets the fumble and converts on the 3, 23-9, with 13:06 to go. We've got 13:06 to play, and our WAC opener here on Fox Sports Net. Neither team has converted a 3rd down here in the second half, as we've had the field goal battle going on. Tulsa leading 23-6 after Ernest hit 2 field goals in the 3rd, and then Crabtree gets one here, and the last 4 scores in the game have been from the kickers. There's a look at Corey Evans and David Lee, the offensive coordinator, having a visit with him.
I think he just wanted to make sure that he's got things straight as he took him out of the ballgame. Maybe a little dinged or so on the previous series, and they're all checking Corey out to see if he's able to go back in the football game, and maybe we'll see him play a little bit more today.
Yeah, those looks his teammates are giving him, they can't hide it. They're kind of like, are you all right?
There?
What's going on here? Let me see those eyes again. And Rice will kick it off as Ken Hatfield's club trying to claw its way back into this. 23-9 Tulsa with 13:06 remaining to play, and the Hurricane will receive the kickoff. Brandon Skeen is kicking it off, freshman from Arlington.
Enough time in the ballgame now, Bill. 2 scores away, 14 points. He's right there tied.
Scholes from the goal line, the 10. And for decision, good coverage by Rice brings him down at the 9-yard line. So Tulsa, again, they have to operate tough field position. A whole different game in this situation.
You guys are talking about Corey Evans, and they were asking him a lot of questions down here. And I don't think they liked the answers too well because they did do the old Steve Young. Hide his helmet. He's not going back at least for a while.
All right, thanks, Kevin. And if he starts to go in without it, then you know he's really in trouble. Boy, we chuckle, but the concussion situation anymore in football is just downright scary. Hope he's okay. 1st and 10 from the 16. And Tulsa trying to get something going, realizing that in this situation, if they can establish some momentum and get it going a little bit, you really put Rice in a hole.
Yeah, but again, you know, this series started back on their 15-yard line. We're right now the 14-yard line. And you know, credit Rice's kick coverage. I mean, that's a kicking phase game play where they get you inside your own 20-yard line on a tackle and back you up to start the drive. That's a good play in the kicking game.
2nd and 11. Richardson on the little screen pass, and nothing there as Rice is there to smother it, and now 3rd and long for Tulsa. And if they don't get it, they'll be kicking into the wind.
Yeah, good situation. Now, you're right. The wind is a factor here as far as the kicking game is concerned. Not that Rice is going to be tossing a lot of bombs up there. I'm not sure that Josh Blankenship has been as sharp today passing the football as he has in the past. And credit the Rice defense. They've been pressuring pretty well. He's had to throw a little bit off rhythm, off timing, and see how he does here on 3rd and long.
This is a Rice defense that is last in the league in pass efficiency defensively. 257 a game they've been giving up through the year. The dump over the middle of Corey Brown. He is short of the 1st down as he is stopped at the 21-yard line. Needed to get to the 30, and Tulsa will have to kick it away. Justin Engler covering for the Rice Owls.
Good job that time by Engler, coming up, reading the receiver, coming across the field and breaking up and making the tackle short of the 1st down. You see the smash route, that's what it's called, by the wide receiver coming around, Corey Brown, and Engler, good job from his linebacker spot, breaking up and making the play.
That'll bring on Casey Lipscomb, and the punters are getting a workout today as this is the 7th kick coming up for Lipscomb, and his counterpart Hale has had 7 punts today. Rice coming after it, did not get it, but it was close. White is lost as to where the ball is, and it stays put at the 26-yard line. And Tulsa gives the ball back to the Owls. The Owls, plenty of time to work. They're down 2 scores. Well, the mom hasn't given up on Rice yet.
They're just getting wound up, I think.
Yeah, post-game is really their highlight anyway. So 10:34 before we get to that. And it's going to be Rice football, 1st and 10 on the 26-yard line of the Owls. A 54-yard punt into the wind that time by the University of Tulsa's Casey Lipscomb. And right up the middle. Rice continues as Tyler rolls across midfield to the 36-yard line. Jamie Tyler, finally the big play for the Owls. Brett Butler makes the tackle.
Well, watch here inside. He just knifes right through there. Nobody touches him at the line of scrimmage. Good job of blocking on the left side by the left guard. Tell you, pretty good speed here by the fullback coming around there. Good gain. Tell you, that's the thing that'll spark an offense in this running attack. Hits you a lot of different ways, inside, outside, a lot of different weapons back there in that backfield.
38 yards for Jamie Tyler. And it's 1st and 10 at the Tulsa 35. There's your field position. Beck comes in, tucks a couple with him, including Dixon and Rayburn, and he's stopped at the 29-yard line of the Hurricane.
I know this offensive line from Rice, they pride themselves on getting blocks, and Brandon Walls, the center, and Heath Fowler doing a good job on that play, creating some space for the fullback to run through.
Second and 4 at the 29. Right up the middle. And again, half the Tulsa defense on his back. No stopping freshman Robbie Beck. And Beck moves that chain crew again. 1st down Owls.
Well, just pound and pound away. Ryan Smith, the right guard that time, does a nice job of blocking down. The fullback goes right off his tail and another quick hit. Robbie Beck's having quite an afternoon.
1st and 10 at the 18. Flags everywhere. It looks like a procedure penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
And now Rice. You see Tulsa and what they've given up rushing yards in 2 games, and the average is going to take a hit today. That's kind of scary. As the Owls, 318 yards, 322 with that last run. Tulsa just 56. Rice 53 rushing. Tulsa 189. But remember, that first half, Tulsa had most of their yardage. And clock moving here with 8:53 to go. Tulsa threw for 180 in the first half.
Well, they haven't had to throw it here, Bill, in the second half, that's for sure. They're allowing their running game to take over. Rice now knocking on the door.
And a timeout is called with 8:44 remaining. And a 2nd and 13 coming up at the 22-yard line. Let's go back to another flashback. John Kennedy in 62, followed by Rice.
35 years ago, fly the Atlantic.
94.
Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon.
And they were wondering at times, why do they play Texas? But on a night when it wouldn't stop raining, Rice finally got the upset. The first win in 29 years over the University of Texas. And Ken Hatfield never felt that water.
So that's a big, big win and a kind of a marked moment in the history here of Rice football, that win over University of Texas. I know they actually got the rights to sell that, a video copy of that tape from ESPN, and they still sell it today.
That'll probably spur the sales. It'll be a little bit of a spurt after just showing that little blip.
There's people who talk about their Rice history, and they like people know where they were when certain major events happened in their lives. Well, a lot of people know where they were when Rice beat Texas.
And Keith Burns just trying to get his first win as a head coach. And Tulsa making it a little bit painful. It's 23-9, but there's no comfort zone on the Tulsa sideline right now. Not with the big run that was set up this situation.
Rice is amassed, Bill, on the ground. 323 yards rushing today, and they've actually got 6 guys who are over 30 yards for the ball game. So, hey, they continue to pile up the yardage.
Back to pass. Wolf going to the end zone and overthrown. Good coverage by the Hurricane secondary. Again, they were looking for Okoronkwo, and Tulsa right there
You know, we talked about this earlier. You know, situations where you do play action pass and you send one receiver out, they can afford to put a couple guys on him front and deep, short and deep on him, and that's what happens there. And if you limit your receivers to just one for your quarterback as a choice, it's a tough completion to make.
Ben Wolf, the quarterback now, as mentioned, Corey Evans got hit hard on the last sack that Farley got him with. 3rd and 13. Wolf again to throw. In trouble. Still looking. Doesn't have anywhere to go. This one may get picked off. And almost completed then. The Hurricane, it's almost like who's going to make it? Burgess or Butler? Neither one did. And the receiver smartly came back and almost picked up the deflection.
Well, the ball was just underthrown. He was under duress when he threw the football. You'll see here he's going to scramble and try to make some kind of a play here. He's got the one receiver again out there in the middle of the field, back of the end zone. He just can't get it back there to him, and you see the defenders come in. They have a chance to get it, both of them, and knock it away. Butler, and then you see the receiver coming up. Watch from the back of the end zone. Ball might have bounced better. Rice could have had a completion.
And on 4th and 13 from the 22, what would be a 39-yard field goal attempt, they're going to go ahead and go for it. And Wolf, incomplete, no flags, and Tulsa will get possession of the football. Okoronkwo again the intended receiver, and the Hurricane back there again with Butler and also McCory, number 9.
Well, Okoronkwo actually had position on that ball. It was a pretty good ball, a little bit underthrown, but Okoronkwo, watch here, he's only going to put up one hand. His left hand goes up, his right hand does not go up to the football, and he didn't have both hands up there. He might have had a chance to catch the ball.
Ken Hatfield figuring with 8:18 to go that, hey, you get this close, you're going to have to get that 6. Otherwise, you're still going to need 2 scores.
That's exactly right. Now the Rice defense has to come up big again.
And let's see what Tulsa opts to go with here as Blankenship brings them out. 1st and 10 from their own 22. Wanting to throw, and does, to Roach, the tight end. Clock moving.
Jim Gilstrap, the offense coordinator from Tulsa, is obviously not too conservative throwing there on 1st down, and he knows what plays are going to work for his offense, and that's probably, he feels, as safe a play as they could run. Quick little hitter, get about 5 yards, keep the clock running, and obviously try to move down the field.
You know, if they get 2 or 3 first downs, the way Rice offense works, you pretty well got a lock on this one if you don't turn it over. And again, Rice swarming to the ball defensively, and not much doing for the ball carrier that time for the Hurricane.
It's going to be 3rd and 4 or 5, and Josh Blankenship is going to work the clock here, I think, all the way down, and wait for the call to come in. And it's important in this situation when you're ahead. And take this play all the way down to the last second as you watch the 25-second clock run down.
3rd and 5. Blankenship thrown for 194 yards. This one almost picked off, and it would have been 6. Dawson smelled it, trying to get the ball to Scholes. And Rice, defense is just taking over in this game.
Well, this is a quick play here, Bill. It might actually be a lateral.
Yeah, I think
Look
it
at
is.
That. And where is that ball going to be picked up at, and where they're going to spot it?
They put it at the 27, and Tulsa will now kick it away.
Block that punt! Block that punt!
Here they come again. They ran into the kicker. There's going to be a penalty of some sort on this punt that goes out toward the 50. Rolls out of bounds. Jake Jackson. And Lipscomb is hurt. Lipscomb is slow to get up. Not up yet as Jake Jackson.
Well, I understand the mentality of rushing and trying to put pressure on the punter and block the kick. Late in the ball game, you're trying to make a play happen.
Back it up.
But when you rush the punter, you've got to rush smartly, and Jake Jackson probably could have blocked this punt anyway, but just his path that he had.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
And his path was not very good when he rushed and kind of spun the punter around. Watch him, going to be on the left side of your screen here, come across. He couldn't have blocked that, and watch the path I'm talking about. He needs to go to a spot in front of the punter instead of going actually all the way to him, and that way you avoid the contact with the kicker and not result in a penalty.
So Tulsa keeps the offensive group aboard, and it's 1st and 10 at the 42 after the penalty, and now the clock at 6:41. And they're going to run the football. And Tulsa, nice job by the offensive line that time as Dante Hart moves it out to the 48-yard line.
Good power run at that time by Hart, the young freshman, 5'11", 185 pounds. Keith Burns obviously most like this young freshman. He's taking Ken Bohannon, the junior, out. Haven't seen a lot of him in the second half. The big fullback, 235-pounder. He's gone with the young freshman in the one-back formation.
John White made the tackle that time.
I'll give you to
And again, Hart got the first down and more to the 43-yard line. And Smith making the tackle.
Kevin Schaefer, the left tackle that time, just walled his man out to the outside, and Schiller does a good job on the guard spot. And watch the cuts here, good eyes, good vision, breaks a couple of tackles, and Dawson wraps him up in the middle of the field. But still, that clock is running, first downs, the ball's on the ground, and you know, Keith Burns is pleased that his offense is being able to click right now.
Yeah, and you get the feeling here for Tulsa that, yeah, a win's a win, but it sure would be nice in the Tulsa sense to go out with an impressive drive to really put a lock on this thing instead of just swapping out on downs and counting on your defense to hold it. And especially by doing it on the ground with Dante Hart again on 1st and 10.
Now, this is really the first measuring stick ball game for these teams. Actually, Rice played a very good ball game the first week of the season against University of Houston and won in overtime. And Tulsa, the last week, played Oklahoma State in a pretty close ball game late in the game. They got behind early. And Rice, we know, went to Michigan. And just the power of those two teams, you know, for these two teams, are a little more evenly matched, and we're seeing that today. And you know, the teams throughout this conference, Bill, are a little more evenly matched as well. So the games that you'll see later on throughout the conference schedule, you're going to be a lot more competitive ball games. And I think that Keith Burns understands that. And sometimes you have to pay your dues with an Oklahoma State or some other football team that maybe just a little bit ahead of you in talent.
2nd and 8 from the 41. Dante Hart. And brought down near the line of scrimmage. No gain on that play. So it'll be 3rd long for Tulsa. Clock ticking away, though, at 4:29 to go in the football game.
I'd be thinking timeout. You got your timeouts. I think you might want to use them here. They're trying to grind it out. You get a 2nd and long now, 3rd and long. Why would you save them for the offense?
Timeouts are 3 over 2.
Tulsa will work that play clock. There's 9 seconds on it now as they break the huddle. Blankenship. Hart, and he's got the first down. Hart putting the hand down, keeping his balance, and Dante moves it to the 32-yard line. A tackle by White.
Credit the Tulsa offensive line. They're taking over now. Schiller and Anthony Taylor up front, the left guard in the center, doing a good job of opening the hole inside. And Hart, hey, he must like this. Watch on the left side there, get behind the big center's block and cut behind him. That's Taylor blocking, doing a good job up front. Big first down.
1st and 10 at the 31 with 3:38 to go. Dante Hart loving this action. How many times do you want it? Coming in Dawson to make the tackle that time. Ken Hatfield getting a little bit of his own medicine here.
Yeah, that's
Ball
exactly
on the ground,
right.
running the clock out.
Clock is not his friend right now, that's for sure. He's looking at his clipboard there just to figure out what play he's going to call next when he does get an opportunity to call a play.
Ken, of course, coached against Tulsa at Arkansas on numerous opportunities, and also when he was at Air Force. 10-2 in his career against the University of Tulsa. And Tulsa's never beaten Rice in the previous 5 meetings. They're on the verge of doing it here today. Blankenship. And it's intercepted. Dawson at the 40, 45, 50. some blockers. Dante Hart brings it down from behind. And just like that, now you do really wonder if Rice have been using those timeouts.
Well, they've got to strike quick now. They've got to get this into the end zone here. They've got 2:40 or so left there in the ball game. You got to wonder why does Keith Burns allow for a pass on 2nd and 9 or 10? You're running the ball very well. It's really your only opportunity for a miscue unless it was a fumble. Credit Dawson that time for good coverage on the outside and picking it off and keeping his feet. Getting a good return to the 36-yard line or so here for the Owls.
Dawson last year had a fumble recovery and an interception against Tulsa and was rewarded as the WAC Player of the Week. This time he takes it back 33 yards. And Wolf looking, and then again, Okoronkwo, the only receiver out there, and not able to come up with anything.
We're going to have a lineman downfield. That's one thing about this offense. Not used to passing so much, used to blocking, run blocking, and I think one of those big offensive linemen might have slipped past the line of scrimmage.
Now you notice I said only receiver down there.
Yeah, that's it.
The lineman going down to the races. So 2:32 and the clock stopped.
Eligible receiver downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Good first down.
And if the Owls, well, they obviously got to have the quick one. They do have the timeouts that they could then use with Tulsa trying to run the ball to get the ball back. But headed the wrong direction here after the penalty. 1st and 15, the ball on the 41.
Well, they've got 2 wide receivers in the ball game here. Actually going to bring Sadler out, make it a 3-wide like of a almost package.
Weber to the top. Wolf on the rollout. And completes it to Sadler at the 35-yard line. He did not get out of bounds, though, and the clock will continue to move.
A little no huddle here. Get up to the line of scrimmage, call the play quickly.
2nd and 9. 8 make it on the 34-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Wolf finds a man, does get out of bounds. Hawkins this time at the 30, but not the first down.
Well, they're not in this situation very much. They should huddle up here. The clock has stopped, out of bounds, but they're going with the no huddle right to the line of scrimmage. And
maybe trying to keep Tulsa off balance. Wolf on the keeper, now pitches, and Sadler.
Smart play that time by Ben Wolf. He could have turned up and made the first down, but what he did was very smart. He pitched it to Sadler, closer to the sideline, goes out of bounds again and stops the clock.
Advantage of having the senior there. Second quarter was where we had most of the action today. Tulsa down 3-0, came back and got 17, and then Rice with a field goal as the half ended. Wolf trying to take it up the middle, now looking to the outside and trying to get out of bounds, and does. Oh, they're going to say his forward motion was stopped and keep the clock moving. 1:44, Scott made the tackle.
That was a big tackle that time on the outside. Ben Wolf trying to scramble to get to the outside, but they got him wrapped up, and you're right, Bill. It was the forward momentum, and the clock is continuing to run.
Rice with 2 timeouts remaining, Tulsa with 3. Pass is complete, and out of bounds this time is White. That'll stop it at 1:23. 23-9 Hurricane.
Gotta wonder how many times Ben Wolf has actually been in this situation. Even in practice, a chance to run the 2-minute drill with his offense, which his offense is not really set up to do a lot of passing, but this may be the best passing opportunity for him, is run their 2-minute drill and just continue to do it.
Last year played as a running back. His sophomore year he played in 2 games as a quarterback, and as a freshman he was mainly a special teamer for 9 games. Here he faces 3rd and 2 on the 16. Keeps it this time and got the first down, and that'll stop the clock as they move the chains, but at 1:17. And Tulsa's doing a good job of not giving up the big play, and if Rice does happen to get in the end zone, they're hoping nothing will be left on the clock. Now it restarts out of the shotgun. Wolf again on 1st and 10 from the 12. In the end zone, got it all, touchdown! Okoronkwo, and Rice makes it interesting. 23-15.
Good change up that time. They've gone to the corner route several times today. The corner's actually laying off, trying to go to anticipating the corner route. But Okoronkwo, a little slip to the inside. Ben Wolf reads it to the back of the end zone. Well executed. Rice is knocking at the door again.
12-yard TD pass from Wolf. That's his second touchdown pass of the year. 23-15. They'll go for one here to make it a 7-point game. And it is up and good by Crabtree. 23-16 with 1:06 remaining in the football game. Don't go away. Tulsa hadn't wrapped it up yet. Gilbert Okoronkwo with a touchdown reception, his first of the year, a 12-yarder from number 11, Ben Wolf. And here's how it looked.
Good job that time by Wolf, just waiting for the receiver to come open, and does a good job adjusting in the back of the end zone. Okoronkwo does, and good touchdown there.
All right, now Rice with 2 timeouts remaining, 1:06 to go, and obvious onside kick situation.
Well, all teams practice this phase of the game on both sides of the ball, whether you're going to be kicking it or you're going to have your hands team collecting the football out there. It's going to be placed at the far hash mark and kicking to the near sideline. That's a smart thing. I always like to see onside kicks kick to your bench, because a lot of inspiration comes from there.
Brandon Skeen to kick it, and it went out of bounds. It was a pretty good kick, though.
Yeah, it was.
That's
the kind of kick you want. You want to get the bounce up high, not enable the return team to catch the ball cleanly. What they're taught to do, Bill, in that situation is when the ball comes, if you can catch it cleanly, attempt to catch. If you can't, somebody else is in position to do it. So that's the kind of kick you want. Just knife it down there. And take the ball out of bounds at the spot.
That's where Tulsa will get it on the first down. Don't think they'll be throwing this time. Tulsa's offense has been non-existent second half. 69 yards of total offense for the Hurricane after 207 in the first half. And the Rice defense has been stifling. But the Rice offense and the combination of the Tulsa's defense of creating the turnovers has been the difference in this game in the second half. The Hurricane getting the field goals in the third quarter from Ernest, a 25 and 42-yarder that both came after fumble recoveries. Hart, they're digging for the football. He's wrapping it up.
Why we're not calling timeout here for Rice? They've got 2 timeouts remaining. Why are they going to let the clock continue to run? Unless they're waiting to call it after third down, second and third down. I'm always a big proponent of calling it now, let it run at the end, because on second down you may cause a fumble and have more time to operate instead of allowing it to go ahead. They'll drain the clock all the way down.
You don't know for sure that they're going to be able to protect the football.
That's exactly right.
Second and 9. Play clock at 6 seconds as you look in the lower left of your screen. Hart again, just running up in the middle. Now the timeout with 20 seconds to go. And it's third down.
Well, if you do the math and assuming even generously 5 seconds per play, then Rice could potentially have 10 seconds when they get the ball back.
Keith Burns with a headset, and we hope you get ready for an Oberman fix. Sunday night sports just got a whole lot better as the Keith Oberman Evening News airs tomorrow at 10 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Every Sunday night, Keith provides his unique perspective on the world of sports, wrapping up the week's events and taking a look forward as to what's ahead. The Keith Oberman Evening News tomorrow at 10 p.m. only on Fox Sports Net. Well, Keith Burns calling it a must-win and having to wait to the final moments to be assured of it as his first win as a head coach at the major college level. The Hurricane in the WAC opener up 23-16 and 20 seconds to go, third and 10.
You know, I just got a feeling that Keith Burns is going to be successful. he just has that air about him that he knows what to do. He's willing to do the things to make his job, his program better, and the things around the Tulsa program to make it better. He's certainly willing to do those things, and I'm really impressed with how he conducts himself and the way his players respond to him.
And the facilities have been improved as they've got the grass surface that is artificial. Here's Blankenship trying to kill as much time as possible. There's the timeout with 14 seconds to go. But if you've seen Nebraska's new surface, then some of those they're using, and also cleaning up with the stadium and painting and some other projects that are underway. And some would say, well, the new coach always gets that. Well, that's part of the deal that comes along with it, but his enthusiasm has certainly been infectious among the athletic department and the community in Tulsa.
Right, exactly. You know, those are things that programs need to do. They need to change, and that's what Tulsa is doing. And Rice has been very consistent here with Ken Hatfield over the years, and he's got a consistent program that works and hasn't worked to perfection today, but these two schools, I think, are pretty evenly matched, Bill, and a lot of these teams in this conference are. As we bring up a big fourth down here, fourth and about 20. And now we're going to see the punt and rush team again try to work some kind of a miracle for the Owls. They get the return. They could have 10 seconds or so. I'd be surprised if they'd allow the returner to return it here. Could run the clock out essentially if he does.
Casey Lipscomb and stands back at the 31. He gets it off. And out of bounds with 6 seconds to go. And Rice will have an opportunity, although a slim chance. That ball taken out of bounds. And 6 seconds to go. Rice out of timeouts. 20-yard